The scene became utterly chaotic at the tower's 8th floor, the Deadlands, where hurried footsteps pounded like every breath was being rushed. The well-disciplined soldiers followed, right behind Kazuki. Suddenly, he stopped and raised his hand to signal everyone. Kazuki's expression was serious as he announced, "Today, we are here to do something unprecedented. Conquer the 8th floor Guardian. Don't slack off just because this is a joint raid. If we don't clear this place, the 9th floor will remain a mystery forever." Suddenly, the soldiers parted to create a path, and his eyes narrowed for a moment. "Look who's here." Seeing the approaching group, Kazuki keenly recognized them as Lamnan. A man among them wore a mask, and Kazuki flashed his signature friendly smile as he went to greet Subaru. He replied politely, "Sorry for making everyone wait." Kazuki smiled and shook his hand. "Wait long? You are the first one here." Subaru asked curiously, "I heard even the martial arts team is participating today." He commented, "Well, Namakakami Subaru is the leader, after all. They probably just want to pick up whatever scraps you leave behind." At that moment, he gripped the hilt of his sword and spoke. "If they just want to pick up scraps," Subaru said meaningfully, "then I have something right here for them." And then he dropped a glowing object into his hand. A status window suddenly appeared. "Blessing of the Archangel Kyuki." He wondered, "This is..." Subaru explained, "I intended to complete this raid perfectly, but just in case, you should keep that with you." Hearing this, he hesitated, "But you need this much more than I do." He cut in and asked, "Besides, after this battle, do you want to return to Landman?" Subaru emphasized, "You can get it back to me then." At that moment, Kazuki lowered his eyes, a feeling of sadness welling up in his heart. He patted his shoulder reassuringly. "Well, if you don't want to give it back, you can just keep it forever." Just then, a loud noise made them both jump and look over. Subaru warned, "It's here." Kazuki was surprised. It's revealing itself this early? In the moment of preparation for the historic battle, everyone gathered. "The 8th floor Guardian," he hurriedly shouted, ordering brace for impact. The Hydra monster appeared with its grotesque heads and began attacking everyone. He looked up to observe it, then sighed softly, "What a hideous monster." Subaru's hand was filled with dark energy. "It makes my skin crawl," the system announced. Lightning coursed through Subaru's entire body. His voice was ice-cold as he declared, "Today is the day you die." The Hydra's eyes glanced at Subaru. Immediately after, all its heads began to roar, coalescing into a green orb. Kazuki panicked and shouted, "It's about to fire its breath." Everyone fall back. But Subaru stood firm and stopped them, "No need." Seeing the monsters rampaging, he asked in confusion, "What are you talking about?" The Hydra combined its power, its roar echoing through the space. In that instant, he touched his hilt and decisively drew his sword. Finally, Subaru slashed through the air with dark power. Two immense powers of good and evil clashed directly. Kazuki glanced over and remarked, "Subaru, you never change." Chino skipped forward, praising, "That was amazing, Subaru. Your training sessions really paid off." Singer touched his neck and complained, "Damn it, I was a step too slow. I wanted to land the first hit." Vina looked up and asked, "Hey, what did you give Kazuki just now?" His voice was cryptic. "You'll find out soon enough." Subaru looked up and asked, "Is everyone ready? We're going to kill this giant lizard and clear the 8th floor." Immediately, everyone charged forward to attack the monster, leaving only Kazuki standing and watching. He muttered indifferently, "Look how united they are." Just then, someone approached from behind and said, "Just as planned. The hidden soldiers are in position." Kazuki turned to look and sneered, "Excellent. Then let's begin." Someone agreed, "All right." The mysterious person added, "May luck be on your side." Kazuki turned back to glance at the battle before him with an emotionless expression, her slender back, her hair fluttering in the storm. And then they all charged as one to attack the monster simultaneously. The Hydra opened its glowing red eyes and its enormous mouth, unleashing lightning, its face ferocious with sharp teeth. Rana moved closer to it. Saigon shouted to stop her, "Hey, don't just slash without saying anything." At that moment, she glanced back and saw a cold, sharp blade. Rana commented, "Are you really still not used to the way I work?" But he yelled back, "You still have to be a little careful." Meanwhile, Isaac charged forward with a challenge. "Toshiba, want to see who can deal the most damage?" A red light spread through the area along with the beast's roar, as they each attacked from a different side. The guy said resentfully, if that's the case. Isaac reminded him, the loser has to buy dinner. He grinned confidently as he unleashed a powerful sword strike. Seeing the monster fall, Isaac said sorry. Chino, focusing her power, replied, don't worry about me, just keep attacking. Chino focused on creating a giant shield. Leave the defense to me. Just then, Kazuki approached from behind, calling out and startling her. Chino, do you think you can defend against this too? Immediately after, she was attacked unexpectedly before she could defend herself. Kazuki's cold voice rang out. Seriously, this is the price for being too arrogant. Realizing something was wrong, Subaru turned his head as he heard a broken voice call out, Subaru. Chino's body staggered and collapsed to the ground. He also saw him standing there with a cold smile. Subaru's eyes instantly bulged with terrifying veins, showing the rage in his mind. Kazuki's provocative voice said, Subaru, you don't have time to look away. At that moment, the Hydra closed in on him. Subaru's voice was pained as he questioned, Kazuki, why? In the dark space, a system window appeared. You have been chosen by the tower. Climb the tower and prepare for the beginning that will soon unfold. A message was sent to all players, the first message from the tower. Was it a challenge, or perhaps a blessing? Even now, the true purpose of that message remains a mystery. We don't even know who left it, or for what purpose. We simply followed that irresistible command, and just like that, we aimed for the top of the tower, a place no one had ever reached before. Earth, Mirim, Runeterra, Elfrieden, Lugnica, people from different dimensions, each shouldering their own responsibilities. Today, we continue to climb the tower. The sky is no longer clear blue, but covered by layers of smoke and dust. The Hydra monsters lay scattered on the cold ground. When the battle ended, it was also when the heroes were sacrificed. Subaru, exhausted, panted ceaselessly in the cold space of the 8th floor boss, six-headed Hydra. His voice, filled with sorrow and resentment, rang out, I told you all to run, but you didn't listen. They had finally defeated the monster rumored to be indestructible. Looking at his fallen comrades, Subaru cried out in frustration, I don't remember giving you permission to die. The ones who had fought shoulder to shoulder were all gone. He cursed in pain, you idiots. The system sounds chimed continuously. Status, you are poisoned, natural recovery disabled, fatigue level 94. If he could go back, Subaru knew exactly what they would say. It asked, will you die if fatigue reaches 100? Truly Subaru Namakakami, the Lightning King. However, he looked at the mastermind and asked softly, why did you do this? Seeing his smile, Subaru screamed furiously, answer me, Kazuki Kyo. Kazuki stood up and then sat down in front of him. It's been 10 years, Subaru. I've been running towards this day for 10 long years. You of all people should understand. This was the only way I could defeat you. If I didn't get your attention, your precious Lamnan guild was in the way, right? You have no idea how much the things you gave me have tormented me. So I chose the world instead of you. His voice was restrained as he said, that's all there is to it. It's a pity I had to do this, but I can finally see the end. Oh, right. I probably don't need to return this anymore, do I? After all, Lamnan will disappear along with you. Don't be so sad. Even if you die, you'll still be remembered as a hero. It's not like you can verify that anyway. Subaru's low voice rang out. Until the very end, you only hear what you want to hear. Trying to suppress his emotions, his hand gripped the dirt tightly. Subaru glanced at the scene before him, lost in thought. At this rate, his gaze became tense. I can't survive this. But that doesn't mean he'll die a meaningless death like this. Just then, Kazuki turned his head back, his eyes wide with horror. He shouted, impossible. At that moment, the system window showed Aeolus. Subaru charged forward, resolutely yelling, it still works. It still has uses left. I'm not telling you, you piece of trash. System, uses remaining. 4. He thought to himself, I can use it 4 more times. Subaru realized, and there are 4 surviving members of Lamnan. As he attacked, he hoped, at least everyone else can get back. Kazuki roared in anger, after them. Hurry, don't let any of them survive. One of them quickly waved his hand, ordering go. In a vast space, a large magic fan was in the center. With drops of blood on the corner of his lips, Subaru hurriedly shouted, no. He raised his hand high, radiating energy, you all are staying here with me. Status, fatigue level is extremely high. Fatigue has increased to 95. The Lightning King's resistance is limited, and so, Subaru chose to unleash his power. The Lightning King descends. He said, annoyed, Subaru, you really are a stubborn guy. His body had almost reached its limit. Fatigue has increased to 96. His cold voice rang out, I don't know what Kyo promised you people would make you do this. But I hope you're prepared to pay with your lives. From this moment on, no one leaves without my permission. The enemy forces saw this and began to get nervous. At this rate, and so they decided to charge, all or nothing. Swords were raised high, ready to strike, preparing for the battle. Subaru thought to himself, normally, I wouldn't lose to people like this. He gripped his weapon tightly and spun it a few times. But if Kazuki makes a move, it'll be a different story. Dealing with the others is already tiring enough right now. The problem is my fatigue level. Subaru was weary, his mind in turmoil. I can't hold out any longer. In a moment of carelessness, he was attacked from behind. Subaru's face contorted in pain, blood spewing from his mouth. Status warning. Fatigue has increased to 98. Subaru mustered all his strength to turn and counterattack. The scene was chaotic with huge wounds, light gradually illuminating the tragic space. His feet were tired, his sword fell right beside him. Kazuki shouted with joy, we did it! We've killed Subaru Namakakami. But Subaru immediately appeared and asked in a cold voice, you said you killed me? His body quickly unleashed a massive amount of lightning. That person's body was instantly incinerated, his eyes immediately rolled back. After the lightning dissipated, he collapsed to the ground. As for him, he gripped the blade inside his body. Subaru had also reached his limit and slowly crumpled. People started talking, he's down. Did we get him? Kazuki hid in the crowd, observing that monster. Subaru never expected his era to end so simply. The system continuously warned. Fatigue has increased to 99. Danger. Fatigue is extremely high. You will die if fatigue reaches 100. In his mind, Subaru thought, Kazuki, you should know better than anyone. His legs could no longer support him. That in the end, suddenly, Subaru shouted, prepare your swords. I will win. His eyes were dark with hatred, while the other was thinking, my condolences. Blessing of the Archangel system. He'll survive with this. At that moment, Kazuki's eyes widened in horror. In an instant, Subaru's blade flew towards his face, shocking him. Impossible, Subaru declared. In the end, I will be the one who wins. Saying such cool things while looking so pathetic. Kazuki, at least I want to see him die before I go. The final lightning flash must have hit. But it's strange to be thinking about this on the verge of death. Will I be stuck in this state forever? This in itself is torture. What is it? What's this smell? A smell? Can I smell? Could it be? In a junkyard, a lid fell with a loud clang. Subaru was sitting in a smelly trash can. He glanced around and asked blankly, is this hell? An information panel appeared right before his eyes. Name, Subaru Hasoi. Affiliation, Earth. He was stunned. Subaru Hasoi, what the hell is this? What is this trashy status window? Just then, Subaru roared in anger, a name that doesn't fit the face at all, and from Earth? Nothing but trash. People around whispered, what are you doing here? Just to make us look better? He concluded, exactly. Subaru Nargarite Kame was an anomaly, trying to be half the person he was 20 years ago. Huh? Subaru Nargarite Kame? Died 20 years ago. Ah, so this body is... Subaru dazedly climbed out of the trash can. Are you kidding me? Is this a dream? At that moment, he fell to the ground with a painful thud. Subaru stared blankly at the item in front of him, feeling a sense of doubt. He picked it up. Player device. That's right, if I use this. Subaru quickly operated it. Lam Nyan. The information displayed. Lam Ku. The successor to Lam Nan lacks power. The secret behind the name Lam Ku. Lam Ku continues to grow, inheriting the will of Subaru Nargarite Kame and Lam Nan. Today, Guild Master Kyo, we will win the next tournament. Discussing the heroic spirits of Lam Nan on that day, 20 years ago. He couldn't believe it. Impossible. Subaru looked at the face of the person in the picture, bewildered. He's not dead. The person on the screen was familiar to him. Kazuki. Kazuki Kyo. From the beginning, they weren't all enemies. Subaru remembered their conversation back then. What's up? Call me out at this hour? He replied, Subaru, I'm thinking of leaving Lam Nan. He asked, huh? What? So suddenly? Kazuki, I want you to tell the others for me. Friends. At least, Subaru once thought of Kazuki that way. He said, "You'll understand the reasons soon enough. Don't worry, even if I leave, it'll still be your shadow." A few years later, Kazuki established a guild and appeared before him again. He used a name they used to joke about, Blue Area, the name of the shadow he mentioned. But is he still on the 9th floor? Does that mean he hasn't achieved anything in 20 years? Suddenly, Subaru's gaze turned stunned. News banner. Crowds of people visiting the memorial service. The Subaru Nargarite Kame Memorial Hall. Memories that haven't faded even after 20 years. He was startled. My memorial hall? Subaru stood before the entrance of the Subaru Nargarite Kame Memorial Hall. He was shocked. "I can't believe it." Subaru assessed. "This building is more impressive than I thought." A mask was placed in a prominent position. Everyone present was intensely focused, looking on as a bewildered Subaru wondered to himself, "What's the point of memorializing me?" Confused, he moved with heavy steps, his eyes darting everywhere. Subaru wondered, who? And for what purpose? Why would they do this? A voice rang out, giving Subaru a headache. He was a role model for all of us, always. The hero of the Blue Eyes Guild, the creator of the undefeated legend, the man closest to the top of the tower, Subaru Namakakami. Along with all my comrades, to forever remember him. His eyes filled with horror. "Are you kidding me?" Kazuki's voice echoed. "We established this memorial hall." Veins bulged on Subaru's neck in anger as he thought. "You, Kazuki," he said, "Subaru Nargarite Kame and Blue Eyes are no more. However, Blue Area is the only guild that remains, inheriting their noble spirit." He clenched his fists and yelled, "Shut up, don't talk nonsense. Weren't you satisfied with just killing me? If that's the case, then I'll have to live up to your expectations." He continued his sermon. "Namakakami and Blue Eyes will never return." Subaru seethed. "Just you wait." Kazuki said with fake sincerity, "We will never forget them." His mind resisted. That memory, he'll rewrite it from the beginning. Subaru looked up at the sky and reflected, "I won't let him pull that damn stunt ever again. I won't let this second chance go to waste." Suddenly, in that moment, someone grabbed his leg. Subaru helped the person's weak body up, then shook them and called out, "Hey." As soon as the person looked up, Subaru was horrified. "My mask." Suddenly, two people ran over, saying, "I'm sorry, are you okay?" "Minato, Nato, are you okay?" "Don't worry, we just bumped into each other a little." "Are you sure you're not hurt?" He fell into a state of confusion. And these people too. Subaru turned to look around and was horrified. "What the?" Confused, he quickly raised his hand and rubbed his eyes. Subaru's eyes widened in horror. What the hell? Everyone around him was wearing the mask from his past life. What the hell is going on? Kazuki's cold voice echoed. "It's a shame that things turn out this way. Don't be so sad. Even in death, you will still be considered a historical hero." Subaru suddenly understood. Is this what he meant? His eyes sharpened with immense hatred for Kyo. Subaru walked straight toward the crowd. Before him was his own funeral portrait, placed amidst fresh flowers. Subaru pondered, is all of this just a way for him to claim the glory of Blue Eyes for himself? Suddenly, his gaze shifted from hatred to astonishment. Before him were white chrysanthemums emitting a blue light. Subaru's eyes widened, reflecting the scene of him being pushed violently in the crowd, trying to escape. People shouted indignantly, "Hey, watch where you're going. Wait for your turn." As if possessed, Subaru walked straight towards his portrait and reached out to touch the light. Subaru wondered in shock. Is that you, Seagull Ashari? Scene change. On a rooftop, someone was standing and looking down at the city. Seagull spoke. "We've made it through this year's accident as well." The woman behind her replied, speaking freely. "If we had been a little later, we would have run into the blue area. Besides, is it really necessary to do this every year on the anniversary? Just leaving chrysanthemums should be enough." He gently took off his hat and responded, "You never know what might happen. Subaru might recognize the flowers we bring." She wondered, "Do you really think that kid is still alive? Besides, if Subaru were really alive, we wouldn't have had to stand by and watch all this for the past 20 years. You idiot." The sunset sky with birds flying by. In a corner, Subaru wept endlessly like a child. His feet tensed up. She's really... Subaru was lost in thought. Really still alive? He clutched the flower in his hand and called her name. Seagull. This is a room Subaru Hasoi used. Turns out he was poor, huh? Searches for Blue Eyes yielded no results. Subaru dropped the computer on the bed. But Seagull is definitely still alive. She's still here, yet she has to hide. Kyo must be the source of this. Based on his personality, he wouldn't let anyone who knows the truth live in peace. Did Siegel really survive all alone? I'm not sure if all four of them were blown away at that time. As long as Kyo is alive and well, contacting each other now would be nothing short of suicide. Besides, I'm powerless right now. Pushing myself will only make me an easy target. He looked at the mask and the flower on the table and told himself. First, Subaru looked at his hands. I need to regain my strength. Then he gripped his sword tightly, based on Subaru Hasoi's memories. 2 days later, the tutorial to become a player will begin. He stroked his sword, lost in thought. If I can survive... Subaru's gaze became resolute. As long as we survive, we can meet again anytime. The scene shifts to the tutorial test hall. Huga stood with his arms crossed, looking extremely strict, his gaze stern. A person who had just gone through exhausting physical training approached. He stepped closer and said coldly, "You pass, but do you want to continue to the next part?" The other person replied with a stutter. "And next?" He became tense, staring at the system window. "System window, do you want to continue to the next challenge?" He yelled, "Never. I'm not doing that." "Are you crazy? There's no way I can beat 3 of them at once." Huga shouted back, "Keep it down. You're giving me a headache. It'll fail you." As he disappeared, he hastily asked, "But I still passed, right?" He complained, "That kid, that's as far as he can get in the tutorial. I can't believe I had to let that weakling pass. Other than Isaac, son of Benhard, who passed stage 20, none of the other candidates here look promising." Suddenly, the standard for this tutorial test is pathetic. The quality of recruits has really hit rock bottom. Suddenly, his eyes were glued to the screen. Someone was approaching, dragging a sword on the ground. Huga remarked, "That's a heavy name to bear." Well, of course, that only matters if you can pass. All right then. At that moment, Subaru, with an emotionless face, waited for the system. Notification: 2 goblins created. Defeat the goblins. He urged, "Let's start this test right away." Before Huga could finish speaking, he dashed forward like the wind. He stopped and glanced up. Did something just fly by? Before Huga could react, he saw Subaru defeat the monster. He chuckled to himself. It was right to spend 2 days testing this Bodis limits. The body I woke up in is quite amazing. System, do you want to continue to the next challenge? He accepted, of course. I don't have time for this, so let's get this over with as quickly as possible. Seeing that sight, he let out a soft cry of astonishment. At Huga's feet now lay a monster's head. He was horrified by what was happening before his eyes. What the hell is going on? Huga stood still, quietly observing Subaru's actions. His eyes were wide with shock. He's not swinging his sword randomly. He's predicting his opponent's moves 2 or 3 steps ahead. Subaru's hand gripped the sword, his knuckles showing. Huga assessed. Those aren't just the qualifications of a good swordsman. Even I can't move like that. Unless he's the reincarnation of Subaru Nargarite. The sword in his hand powerfully and decisively struck down the monster. Subaru's cold gaze swept over the monsters. System, you have completed stage 49. Do you wish to challenge the final boss? He let out a sigh and urged, let's do it right now. The space began to shake again, right where Subaru was. The ground started to crack, with strange white veins, and a giant hand emerged from below. He shouted worriedly, "Hey, you idiot, wait! You're not Namakakami. If you value your life, then stop right here." The monster roared. It was the Goblin King. The system window appeared. Sensing the sacrifice from stage 49, the Goblin King has been enraged. Huga screamed, "Give up before it's too late. Fighting the Goblin King is too risky. This is suicide. Don't be greedy. No matter how skilled you are, you can't close the stat gap." But Subaru's gaze was incredibly determined. "I know that. With my stats, I can barely do any damage to it." He tightened his grip on the sword. "Even so," he said firmly, "I refuse." In one motion, Subaru threw his sword to the ground, making Mr. Huga clutch his head and scream. Why did he drop his weapon? Has he gone mad? I knew something was wrong with him from the very beginning. But now, the Goblin King was charging at him. An arrow shot out and lodged in its leg. Its expression suddenly changed. Subaru was crouched down, his hands holding poison needles. Surprise. The Goblin King saw this, but still didn't understand what was happening. Subaru continued, "Let's make a bet. Will you take me down first, or will I turn you into a pincushion first?" Without another word, Subaru charged forward again. Seeing this, the Goblin King roared furiously. "Answer me." It also rushed towards him. Its feet moved swiftly, its hand raising an axe high, ready to strike him down. The two attacked each other. With his swift movements, Subaru quickly weaved and dodged its attacks. He remembered the time he had trained before. Subaru continuously threw darts, but they missed the vital points. At that moment, a girl came up and said, "You shouldn't throw it like that." It was Rina. Anything. So, Rina stood and demonstrated for Subaru. As she threw the dart, she explained, can also become a hidden weapon if you can grasp its center of gravity. And so, the dart she threw hit the bullseye with one shot. And now, he used the technique Rina taught him, throwing it at the monster's throat. After that, a dozen other darts were stuck in its body. Subaru said smugly, "Power is proportional to rotational force, and accuracy is inversely proportional to hesitation." That's what Korna taught me. Huga, standing nearby, also thought to himself, the goblin corpses and the poison needles won't disappear until the challenge is over. I can't believe he's using a mechanic that I've looked down on like this. Not just swordsmanship to cut down goblins, but also throwing techniques to pierce opponents with hidden weapons. After thinking, he said aloud, "He's a genius." A genius? No. Does a word like that even do him justice? The Goblin King's body was now covered in wounds. It lost all ability to fight and collapsed. At that moment, Subaru quickly picked up his sword and said, "I have no grudge against you." With those words, he delivered a fatal blow. Finally, the system window appeared. You have defeated the Goblin King. You have completed the tutorial stage 50 for the first time. It's still just the tutorial. You shouldn't be slashing a monster like that during the training phase. Leveled up, gained reputation, gained achievement points, unlocked the tutorial shop. This shop can only be used during this phase. What can I buy with my current points? Current achievement points, 2,425. He went from one surprise to another. I've never even seen this shop before. Open tutorial shop. It seems the prices range from 5 to 200 points. He'll have way too many points left over. Just after pressing the button, Subaru's eyes widened. He murmured, "I can even buy items like this?" Sword of the Nameless Demon. Price, 1,000 achievement points. Brand sword. Type, weapon. Consumes the user's HP and spirit to enhance slashing power and physical abilities. A failed work by the swordsmith Kin. It has no name. I can't believe I'd find an artifact from Kin here. It's extremely tempting, but to use it, it consumes life force. Miranda sword. Price, 1,400 achievement points. Reduces the user's fatigue accumulation and increases combat duration. A Mirin sword blessed by the cathedral. Looking at the holy sword, Subaru couldn't help but feel conflicted. I don't need a demon sword, but a holy sword. Should I prioritize destructive power and choose the demon sword? Or prioritize safety and choose the holy sword? He quietly pondered. Both are good. How should I use my initial points? I need to choose carefully here. But then an idea struck him, and he decided to choose again. I can still change it. The system window appeared. Greed. Price, 1,400 achievement points. Rank F type skill. Level 1. Effect. Nullifies the side effects of skills and items used by the user. The skill's rank and level can be upgraded. Required credits, 10,000C. Subaru's eyes widened in astonishment. I've never seen a skill with an effect like this. Maybe with the demon sword? No, it could even nullify the adverse debuffs from lightning. The system window kept updating. Purchase skill greed, minus 1,400 points. Purchased sword of the Nameless Demon, minus 1,000 points. And he was extremely satisfied with this. Totally worth it. He held the sword, swung it a few times, and exclaimed, "As expected, this skill and the demon sword seem to be a perfect match." Instead of struggling with just one skill to use the demon sword from the start. So he chose the demon sword. Huga also approached and said, "That's a good choice. That skill and item are very compatible. However, as a proctor, I don't understand. I am Huga. Why did you choose that skill? I don't know if it's useful, and you couldn't have been sure it would be effective either, right?" Hearing this, Subaru retorted, "You want me to explain every little detail?" Suddenly, Mr. Huga flew into a rage. "Explain it. Is that what you wanted to ask? Speaking politely is really hard. You must be very tired after the test, so I'll let it slide this time. It's not for any special reason or anything, Huga." At this, he thought to himself, so that snot-nosed brat has become a proctor. Then he remembered a young man from years ago. "I'm a fan. Can I have your autograph, sir? An autograph? I don't have one. Then just writing your name is fine. My name is Huga. After remembering, he started rambling. In my day, to become a player, learning etiquette was the first step. Compared to that, young people these days, just because they have a little skill, they become arrogant. I don't know how they were raised, but they hate losing and only demand their rights. And instead of respecting their elders, they call us old-timers. Times have changed, just like the amount of hair on your head. Subaru also replied, Anyway, I have no intention of answering. So please keep the test results a secret. There he goes again, talking back with that shallow knowledge picked up from the internet. Hearing this, Huga suddenly said smugly, all right, if that's the case, it'll personally teach you the manners you lack from scratch. How about this? Do you have any intention of joining the Knights Guild? I don't want to. Hey, it's rare for an examiner to personally recruit someone. To the second floor, let's move. What? Wait, hold on, stop. Hey, despite that, Subaru resolutely left, and eventually, Subaru disappeared. Huga sighed wearily. Good heavens, I'm so disappointed in you. After a while, Subaru landed in another place, surrounded by a chaotic mix of voices. Second floor, how about some fresh deep-sea fish from Runeterra? Special dried meat. Come and have a taste. Beginner's zone. We have everything from scales made in the martial world to coats from Earth. I've returned to this place. I've grasped a chance that no one else has, a second attempt. Since I've experienced it once before, I must handle everything better than last time. For the comrades who are waiting for me, and to get revenge for the horrific end we faced. A private training room for self-practice and learning new skills, testing equipment durability, etc. As soon as you arrived, an old man asked, What floor are you from? Subaru quickly replied, I just came up, a place that all players frequent. He then pointed to give him directions, then you should use training room number 1, there's a scarecrow in there. After hearing that, Subaru was a little puzzled. They'll use number 5. Number 5? The old man suddenly became grumpy and frowned. He'll be honest. Don't do that, it's expensive. Just use number 1. I appreciate your concern. Just give me 30 minutes. Acting like he's the main character in a Korean drama. Whatever. It's up to you. No refunds if you leave halfway through. The system window appeared. You have used 50 credits. Remaining credits, 10,050C. The higher the number, the harder the training room. And it was true. For a player without proper equipment, being looked down upon was to be expected. However, he still bravely stepped inside. All right, then let's begin. And it was time. Subaru got ready, gripping the sword in his hand tightly. A red light appeared, and the system window popped up. The unnamed magic sword has recognized its master. All skills are temporarily increased. Absorbing users' HP and MP greed level 1 has negated the backlash of the unnamed magic sword. Some HP and MP have been restored. Greed level 1 has failed to negate the sword's backlash. Fatigue is gradually increasing. As expected, level 1 is still too weak, but just a little more. The unnamed magic sword has absorbed the user's HP. Power increases in proportion to the HP lost. As the system messages appeared, the sword's power grew stronger, emitting a brilliant red glow, but Subaru couldn't control it. Is this my limit? Still within expectations. You have consumed 10,000 credits. The skill level of Greed level 1 has increased. He plunged the sword into the ground, panting heavily. The system window appeared. Greed rank E, skill classification, tier 2. Prevent side effects of skills/items used by the user. Credits needed to level up, 20,000C. Greed level 2 resists the sword's backlash. Greed level 2 has partially succeeded in resisting the sword's backlash. The unnamed magic sword has absorbed HP. Power has increased even more. It worked. At this, Subaru's expression became more determined. With bloodshot eyes, Subaru resolved to charge forward. It was time to test his strength. Back with the old man from before, he sighed with a bored expression as he saw Subaru's figure pass by. Am I still dreaming? Or am I hallucinating? Seeing Subaru's blood-soaked figure walking by, he couldn't seem to believe his eyes. Is that the kid who went into room 5 earlier? It feels like it hasn't even been 10 minutes. Then he knocked on the room's door and called out, Hey, dreamy kid, are you still in there? Seeing no response, he stuck his head in to look, and the sight before him made him gasp in shock. What the hell? What in the world happened in here? The scene before him was one of utter devastation. Cutting to Subaru, he was stretching as he woke up. How long did I sleep? My body is still stiff. Then he sat up and thought, if it were a normal cursed sword, I would have cleared that room more easily. My physical stats have definitely increased, and I also succeeded in unleashing the sword's power. Normally, with stats like these, name, Subaru Hasoi, origin, Earth, level 10, strength 17, agility 17, stamina 16, focus 18, magic 8. I couldn't even lift the magic sword, let alone use it. He recalled the battle and thought, the synergy between greed and the sword is perfect. That means a combination with lightning might also be possible. But the next problem is the skills level. The system window appeared. Greed rank F, skill classification, tier 2. Credits needed to upgrade, 20,000C. Remaining credits, 50C. Have I always been this poor? Looking at the system window, Subaru looked dejected. Now I'm even having trouble managing my credits. I've really hit a dead end. I mean, I died once, so this is understandable. Hey everyone, what's going on? Suddenly, a blonde-haired guy came over to start a conversation. I'm here to explore the second floor, bringing back memories of when I was a newbie on the second floor. Today's topic is, how much do trendy items for young people cost? Let's go. Alexander has donated 1,000 credits to celebrate. Received 1,000 credit points from Alexander. Then, he poured a cup of water on his own head and shouted, "That hurts. Thanks a lot." Subaru looked on, confused. What's wrong with that guy? Is he crazy? His eyes became suspicious. Then he picked up his phone and read the news. How to earn points? It's the era of PvP. 1 in 3 players is live streaming. A chance to hit the credit jackpot and earn millions of credits. Live streaming? While reading, Subaru muttered to himself, live streaming video in real time and collecting donations. So that's what that guy was doing. Suddenly, Isaac approached. Subaru, you're here too? I didn't expect to see you here. Do you live around here? Looking at him, Subaru turned pale. No, my body is automatically having a bad reaction. We probably don't have a very good relationship. The guy continued. Hey, your friend is talking to you. Don't just ignore me. I feel like I'm talking to myself. This made him fall into thought. No, this isn't just discomfort. It's... Then he stammered, unable to speak. I came here. Huh, what a surprise. After hearing him, the guy sat down and said with a sarcastic tone, I can't believe a weakling like you could pass the guidance test. I thought a goblin would have killed you. I remember now. At this moment, Subaru suddenly remembered the time he begged him. Isaac, why are you doing this? Huh, why? Don't look at me with such a serious face. Your name pisses me off. And you can't even follow basic instructions. You can't even do what you're told. Are you trying to show that you have no parents to raise you and you're an empty-headed idiot? That and the credits you gave me weren't enough, so... Seeing Subaru's pathetic state, Isaac kicked him straight in the stomach, then said sarcastically, Don't talk back, you bastard. This suits you. Listen up from now on, that box is your home. No matter what happens, don't you dare come out of it. If I find out you've stepped out of it even once, you know what will happen. Remembering that, Subaru's face hardened. What kind of idiot would just take a beating like that? So that's why you were in that box? The guy continued to ramble on at Subaru. I've completed up to the 20th stage, even breaking my father's record. Examiner Huga even showered me with praise, saying I'm truly Benhard's son. I even learned a skill as a completion reward. That skill is B rank, the highest you can get from the guidance test. I'm thirsty. Maybe you'll grab a drink. Feel free. I'm leaving now. Oh, is that so? Then when you come back, buy me a coffee. Anything cheap is fine, just pick one. At those words, Subaru was surprised. Huh? After the guy, he lowered his head into his hands and said, Seriously? Still disobedient, as ever. What's gotten into you lately? Staring at people and talking back constantly. Did you have a soul swap or something? Seeing this, Subaru said frankly, I don't have any credits. Go buy your own coffee. When he saw him about to stand up, the guy lowered his voice and said, Sit down. But Subaru was determined to leave. He thought to himself, Kid, I'm sorry, but I don't have time to deal with your personal problems. But if that guy gets in the way of my revenge, that's a different story. But suddenly, Isaac grabbed Subaru's hand tightly and didn't let go. With bloodshot eyes, he looked at Subaru and said, Hey, do you really want to get beaten up? But Subaru replied firmly, Let go if you value your life. The giant suddenly roared as if in anger, slamming a hand down on a fallen comrade. A crying man tried to rush forward, but was held back. Stop! The monster raised its hand, and he screamed. Jay. Bellows, standing guard at the front, quickly turned and ordered. This is an order. Everyone run. He shouted loudly, making them anxious. Think about your families back home and the village. This isn't the end. We will start over. They immediately ran off. Bellows turned back to continue holding the line. They'll leave leading the falcon to you guys. Just as he turned his head to the side, he saw a figure. Bellows immediately shouted, You two, run, quickly. Please rebuild the Night Order and avenge us against the giants. Subaru drew his sword and replied, That's my line. He stepped forward and asked him, You're not planning to run? A confused Bellows asked back, Huh? What do you mean? Subaru then tried to shoo him away. If you're here, I can't move freely. If you insist on refusing, we'll both die here. Bellows looked horrified as if he wanted to scream, but abandon an outsider and run. I can't. Subaru immediately snapped. Don't make me say it twice. Hearing that, he immediately ran. Bellows didn't forget to turn his head back and say, Then they'll go gather the warriors. If you can hold out until then. Subaru, focused on the monsters, replied, Thanks. Bellows shouted, May you survive the battle. I owe you my life. Take care. The monsters suddenly opened their mouths wide and roared. Without a trace of fear, Subaru leaped up and charged towards them. The sword in his hand was covered by a dark aura. I am your opponent. He immediately slashed at the giant's leg. It lost its balance from the blow, nearly falling over. The other giants heard their comrade scream and glanced over. Subaru raised a hand to wipe his sweat. A system notification appeared. Defeated giants Trace X2. Received 20 achievement points. His eyes glowing red. He slashed again while saying, Even if it's a test, I'm not used to being left alone. Elsewhere, Bellows was running as fast as he could into the forest. Then he suddenly stopped, his breathing becoming heavy. Bellows worriedly turned his head to look back in the direction he had fled from. He said nothing, just clenched his jaw. On Subaru's side, a flood of comments appeared. Does that even look like a fight? It's definitely suicide. There are too many of them. Just survive. Right? Why did you send the others away? The score changes based on the number of surviving warriors. So, it's not just about survival. This stage is impossible. As he caught his breath, he thought, including Bellows, who was destined to die, If I do this, I can save everyone. While Subaru was thinking, the giants charged at him as if they'd gone mad. Subaru instantly finished one off with a single blow. Defeated Giant's Trace. Received 10 achievement points. He turned to the side and quickly eliminated another one. Defeated Giant's Trace. Received 10 achievement points. Subaru thought deeply. The unnamed demon sword absorbs the user's mana. All stats increase corresponding to the amount of mana consumed. If I take them down one by one, it won't be difficult. He raised the sword and held it firmly. The problem is how long I can borrow the demon sword's power. Here, I need to secure a vantage point and find the boss. Subaru climbed onto the body of the giant he had just cut down to get a better view. The other giants saw him and looked up. Subaru glided through the air. Below, some giants even opened their mouths as if waiting for him to fall. Suddenly, one opened its mouth wide and raised its hand high as if to catch Subaru. He didn't attack, just used his foot to kick it in the face. Then Subaru used the giants' faces as springboards to launch himself, and the comments section exploded again. One wrong move, and he's dead instantly. Isn't aerial combat Subaru Nargarite Kame's specialty? He paid no attention to the comments, focusing only on his thoughts. Greed Level 2 negates the side effects of the unnamed demon sword. User's stamina and mental strength have been restored. There's a change in stamina consumption. Equipment really does make a difference. His eyes widened as if he saw something. I need to find the boss quickly before I reach my limit. Subaru saw the boss from a distance. There he is. When it saw him, it suddenly laughed out loud, as if delighted. Subaru quickly charged forward. It also prepared to swing the weapon in its hand. As he rushed, he thought, if I don't finish it in one blow, I'm done for. The giant, with a serious expression, raised the club in its hand. Although Subaru appeared calm on the outside, inwardly he was praying, please, let this work. He suddenly snapped his fingers. A sharp click echoed through the air. Subaru was immediately enveloped in a golden light. Using lightning, thunder echoed across the battlefield. The giants cried out in pain, raising their hands to cover their heads and eyes. They screamed loudly while clutching their heads. Even the boss threw away its weapon to shield its eyes. It raised its head, opened its eyes to look at him, and screamed. Human. Subaru dove down from above, the tip of his sword aimed straight at the middle of its head. Unnamed demon sword. Absorbed the user's mana. His eyes glowed red, and the sword also flashed with a gleam of light. Subaru decisively stabbed straight down. It was stabbed and its eyes widened in utter shock. Subaru held his position. Blood splattered everywhere. The massive giant looked at him in disbelief, then it leaned back, its body gradually collapsing. All the other ones were clutching their heads and didn't realize the boss had been killed. Defeated the giant seed. Immediately, a series of system windows popped up. Stage 5 survival complete. Achieved an excellent record. Leveled up. +1 strength, +2 agility, +2 stamina, +1 magic power. In the stream room, comments flooded in excitedly. Has anyone ever defeated it before? No way. How did you even defeat it? It wasn't supposed to be a stage like that in the first place. When did the chance to finish it even appear? Defeating something that shouldn't be defeated. He's a real troublemaker. I hate my weak body so much. Subaru was exhausted, continuously trying to regulate his breathing. If this were the main character in a story, this would be the cool ending. Suddenly, the sky turned dark, with fierce thunder and lightning, making the sky flash repeatedly. The giants finally calmed down, slowly lowering their hands. He raised his sword and looked at it. Greed level 2 has failed to negate the unnamed demon sword's backlash. Subaru staggered, trying to keep his balance so he wouldn't fall. That's right. An image flashed through his mind. Even if I complete this stage, the monsters won't disappear until the test is over. I can't believe the mechanic I once used to my advantage is now causing me so much trouble. From his mask, a few small drops of blood began to fall. Subaru looked at the massive giants and thought, this is bad. My power, it's gone. Suddenly, in the sky, a few lightning bolts unexpectedly struck down. A long golden bolt shot from the sky to the ground at extreme speed. His entire body was illuminated by the light of the lightning. Then it struck Subaru directly, creating a huge explosion that made the giants retreat in fear. Inside another forest, the sky was clear, birds were chirping, and golden light shone down, filtering through the tree canopy. Deep in that forest, there was a wooden house built under the leaves. In front of the house, a girl was sitting on a chair doing something. She focused on the thing in her hands. Singer came out of the house, his eyes immediately falling on her. He approached and asked, "What are you doing in a place like this?" She didn't answer and changed the subject. "The weather is nice, isn't it? The air is fresh too." Vina kept staring at the device in her hand. "It's something you can only enjoy right now." Singer walked over and looked up at the sky. "It's almost time." She thought for a moment, then replied, "A year at most." He turned his face to look at her. It's time to end everything." This time she didn't reply, leaving Singer to sigh helplessly. "You really are something else, getting distracted while we're having a serious conversation." He leaned down, getting close to the device in Vena's hand. "What are you watching so intently?" Hearing him, she hesitated slightly before speaking. Inside was an image of Subaru. Right now, he's called Subaru Nardarite Kame. Singer lost his composure slightly and shouted, "Subaru? Did you just say Subaru?" Vina sighed and quickly replied, "Of course, not that Subaru. He just stole the name Subaru Namika Kame, a streamer who is currently doing the second trial." Comments also appeared on the live stream. "His movements are phenomenal, and this guy is supposed to be a newbie?" Vina stammered a bit, but then said clearly, "You know it too, right?" She said, raising her voice at Sizer in slight anger. If Subaru had survived that situation, Kazuki Kyo would have been erased from this tower long ago. He calmly asked, "What do you mean?" Vena's eyebrows drooped slightly. Her cheeks flushed with a few pink streaks. "Subaru is dead. You need to accept that fact." Hearing that, Sizer immediately turned away. "Don't talk about that anymore." She called out to him, slightly panicked Sizer. Vina stood up from her chair and shouted, "How much longer do you plan to hide in that kid's shadow?" He turned his face away in annoyance and retorted, "What about you?" Sizer snatched the device from her hand. "This is why you get caught up in things like this." As she was about to explain, he took it and held it up before her. "I was just killing time." She looked at the device, and the image inside reflected in her eyes, making her scream, "Huh." Sizer took the device back, asking with a slightly annoyed expression, "What now?" The moment his eyes fell on it, Sizer also froze instantly. It was Subaru stomping his foot hard on the ground to gain momentum, a large amount of energy radiating around him, making it glow brightly. The giants, weighed down by the pressure, couldn't even move. A system notification appeared, skill acquired. Then, you have received 2,000 achievement points. 1. Continuing trial 2. Moving to the next week. The people in the comments went wild. For real? That's insane. So that's how you get it? The difficulty is totally bugged. You asked how to get lightning? Just defeat the giant tri-boss. It makes sense why Subaru didn't say anything. Even if I told you guys. You guys couldn't do it anyway. He looked down and thought to himself, no, normally this isn't something I could have gotten here. The system window displayed information about lightning. Rank A+, skill type level 1. Consumes stamina and mana to wield the power of lightning. Can be upgraded by adding lightning fragments. Subaru looked at the panel and sighed. At least I didn't die. That's enough. The trial stopping at this exact moment really saved me. Another series of notifications appeared, showing all the information about viewers who had gifted him. Subaru immediately spoke. Thank you, everyone. He looked at the reputation points and continued. Reputation points, 20,150. I said that when I receive gifts, they'll put on a show to thank you. The trial will continue. The giants, able to move again, immediately charged forward, growling. Subaru's sharp eyes swept over them. I will show everyone. That used up 20,000 reputation points. Greed skill level 2 has leveled up. Greed level 3 negates the side effects of lightning. He raised his hand, which was radiating lightning. Right now, I want to let it spread throughout my body, but lightning flowed into his hand, and Subaru's hand shone even brighter. All of you. He stood defensively, while the monsters rushed in like hungry tigers pouncing on prey. Just as they raised their hands to attack Subaru, he smirked, gripped the hilt of his sword with both hands, and channeled lightning into the nameless demon sword. Subaru's entire body emitted a deadly red glow. Should I cut them all down at once? Just like in the old days. He swung down hard, his eyes flashing. Wherever the slash went, the giants were split in two. Not a single monster could escape Subaru's deadly sword strike, the finishing blow. The light around his body gradually faded. Subaru, slightly exhausted, panted heavily. Damn it, I intended to save my strength to get back. He leaned on his sword, trying to stand firm. I misjudged the power. Behind Subaru, a group of people was approaching. Seeing the scene before them, they were all a little startled. Bellows looked up, his face clearly bewildered. He suddenly rushed towards Subaru. Our benefactor. Subaru, leaning on his sword, heard the call and turned his head. Subaru's eyes grew dim. He tried to breathe normally again, his vision blurring. He watched Bellows run over worriedly. You idiot, really. Just as he reached out his arm, Subaru closed his eyes tightly. You really came. Inside a room, the device on the table buzzed. The three people inside were all worried and a bit panicked. Xianhian looked up and asked, do we really have to go this far? John didn't know what to do either. Don't ask me. I don't understand how women think. Has sat in her chair, holding her face in her hands and muttering. This is bad. Her face was flushed, sweat dripping down. What should I do? Has rubbed her hands on her face. Maybe I sounded too cold. What if it just seemed like a work message? I should have added more emojis. He crossed his arms and said, sorry, but to me, it just looked like a work message. Are you one of those crazed fans? John added, honestly, I thought you wanted to be a streamer's manager. Has lowered her hands, her voice a little loud. But before I became a manager, I was a passionate fan. How can you blame me? She suddenly stood up and approached the two of them. And besides, I already told you, right, boss? Has placed a hand on her chest, her voice clear and powerful. The lightning that only Subaru Nariku could obtain. With this, it has become the unique lightning only for Subaru Nariku and his group. Hearing that, Mr. Xian sighed. Somehow, I managed to save my salary. He raised a hand to his chin and smiled. No one or no one else could get it. He's definitely someone to watch. The device in his hand suddenly received a signal. Seeing this, Hess' eyes lit up. Boss. Xian's next words made her a little worried. It seems Subaru Narikomi read the message, but just as he finished speaking, Hess immediately turned to stone. He just read it. The two men looked bewilderedly at her, standing there frozen. At the same time, inside a room filled with anime figures, an excited voice rang out. Well then, a young man was sitting in a gaming chair in a modern room with an expensive PC setup. He looked at the large LED screen, unable to hide his excitement. Shall we begin? A streamer who specializes in analyzing players' matches using his sharp insight and knowledge. He has defeated countless opponents and built a solid reputation for himself. A confident smile appeared. They're hooked. It's rumored that he has shown sharp analytical skills while watching videos of various players. Among them is Kirikawa Amon, who just joined Blue Area. The future of Blue Area. A comprehensive analysis of Kirikawa Amon. Hawkeye pointed at the screen, showing Amon's image. A dark horse has appeared, climbing the tower at a dizzying speed. Some even call him the second Narumi. It's time for Hawkeye to step in. Also including Kazuki Kyo, a former member of Blue Eyes. Can he become the strongest man? Kazuki Kyo of Blue Area. Hawkeye analyzed. Kazuki Kyo is now a player representing Earth. The pressure on his shoulders must be immense. But today I want to take a closer look at his skills. Of course, the legend of a generation. Namakakami Subaru is no exception, no matter what anyone says. Lightning belongs to this man, Namakakami Subaru, hail praised. When you think of a player on a level far superior to the rest, who comes to mind? Most of you are probably thinking of this man right now. That's right, Subaru Namakakami. He turned on his live stream and enthusiastically introduced himself. Hello, I'm Hawkeye. Thanks for tuning in today. Today, we're going to focus on dissecting the hottest player right now, Namakakami. The comments immediately exploded. Namakakami is back? Yeah, but it's not the original. Isn't he still on the second floor? Looks like him. Turns out there are a lot of Namakakamis. A new Subaru? Run out of ideas? LOL. Hawkeye didn't pay much attention. He moved the mouse. Now, then, let's not ruin the mood right from the start. Hawkeye started re-watching Subaru's battle. Hawkeye couldn't comment further and could only marvel. Oh, that's insane. The comment section was also excited. What's with this guy? LOL, and he's a newbie? This is a completely different level from the Gacha God. Overrated? What floor are you on? No more comments doubted Subaru's skills. Hawkeye was still watching. He hesitated. What is this? He shuddered watching Subaru's performance. So much so that he could only utter one word. Peak. Hawkeye began his analysis. No. What kind of concentration is that? No ordinary person could use a newly acquired skill that well. He didn't hold back his praise. He controlled the skill and channeled exactly what was needed into his sword, and didn't waste a single bit of power. The comments were also full of praise. Is that even possible? Yeah, what do you mean? Am I the only one who doesn't get it? I get it. Don't get it. Just one word. God, if this is real, then it's truly insane. Hawkeye also felt this was insane. Control ability and refined concentration technique. The focus that makes it possible. And the judgment to use it precisely when needed. Truly, he didn't make a single mistake in this entire battle. He watched intently. Where did this monster come from? He thought to himself, I bet half of you don't even understand what you're watching. Before ending the live stream, he promised, this guy will definitely become a big deal. I plan to continue following him in upcoming Hawkeye broadcasts. Below, the comments were still lively. I thought you were a solo player. What? You're going to party up with him? Isn't that against your principles? If he climbs a bit higher, it would be fun to team up, but honestly, he's simply phenomenal. A comment caught his eye. No conclusion today? He thought for a moment. All right, I forgot to give my one-line Hawkeye review. He thought for a long time and then decided. Frankly, in terms of control, he might even be better than Norui in his prime. The scene changes. Subaru, sleeping soundly, suddenly startles awake. It seems something was keeping him from sleeping. Subaru sat up. The system also announced, Stage 6 is approaching. Fatigue has been completely reduced. Do you want to postpone the trial? Subaru recalled. 2 conditions must be met to temporarily suspend the trial. You must have completed the previous stage. The next stage must not have started, and your fatigue level must be 0. In other words, you have to be fully recovered. Subaru scratched his head and thought, my fatigue level is 0, but I'm still mentally tired. Maybe I should pause the trial for a bit. He picked up his phone to check. He was surprised to see the number of viewers. He said his final words before ending the live stream. Thank you all for watching today. The comment section was suddenly more crowded than usual. Huh? Ending the stream? Turns out it was just a sleep stream. More. He also noticed the change in viewership. Since when did my viewer count get so high? Subaru said goodbye to the audience. I'm sorry, but the next stream will start the day after tomorrow. I'm taking a day off. As soon as the system announced that Subaru Narutekami had ended the live stream, a light flashed, opening a portal. Subaru was suddenly teleported from his room. The system displayed, discovering stage. His phone chimed with a notification. Subaru didn't leave right away, but stopped to check it. He was bewildered when he saw the message he received. This is an important letter. Saw 10 Entertainment. To Mr. Subaru Narumi. Thank you for your hard work. I am Hasuka from the management department of Saw 10 Entertainment. Could you please confirm that you have received the message I sent? Our company fully supports streamers and ensures the highest revenue share in the industry. Subaru doubtfully took off his mask and read it again. Spam? Suddenly, he realized the sender was Saw 10 Entertainment. Scene change. In a small cafe, Subaru was still staring intently at the letter he had just received. Subaru went online to research the company that sent the letter. Saw 10 Entertainment, a large MCN company specializing in managing streamers. One of the fastest growing companies thanks to strong investment and support for streamers. He thought to himself, the world has definitely changed. Now even companies like this exist. Reading the information he had just found, Subaru frowned slightly in thought. And it's also a big company in the entertainment sector, a top one. Subaru came across a post with the title, Streamer Hal partners with Saw 10 Entertainment. Like a shooting star, Mr. Narumi has appeared, and in terms of control alone, he may have already surpassed the original. Below, a heated debate erupted in the comments. The next target of LOL. This guy is all talk. Nonsense? As a commentator, you're also at the top. People quickly forget their roots and start advertising everywhere. He seriously praised that person. Hawkeye is known for being extremely strict. Reading the comments, Subaru also remembered. Hawkeye. So he's also a streamer from Saw 10? A commentator famous for his blunt, straightforward style. Huh. The comment section was very lively. Subaru was shyly excited to learn that Hawkeye had praised his performance. I have to admit, he has a good eye for talent. On the street, a pair of legs quickly approached the cafe where Subaru was sitting. A large man stopped in front of the cafe and checked his phone. The phone was replaying Hawkeye's live stream. Hawkeye's comment rang out. In terms of control alone, he might even be better than Namakakami. He angrily turned off his phone after hearing the comment. Dolmis Wiesma. He just reached the second floor. He angrily cursed at the screen. What the hell is Hawkeye? Once I get there, it'll gouge out all of their eyes. His anger didn't subside. Isaac stomped his foot hard on the ground. Damn it. He entered the cafe in a foul mood. My morning is completely ruined. Entering the cafe, he stopped and sighed, his anger rising again. Subaru was already sitting inside. This made Isaac irritable. He muttered, Is it my unlucky day or something? Unaware of anything, Subaru continued to focus on reading the latest news on his screen. Isaac angrily walked up next to Subaru and, taking advantage of his inattention, deliberately knocked over the hot cup of coffee on the table. The coffee had just been served, so it wasn't cool yet. Subaru jumped up startled. Huh. He froze when he realized who was in front of him. Isaac was about to offer a cursory apology. Oh, sorry. He pretended not to know Subaru. Huh. We've been running into each other a lot lately, haven't we? The second floor is really small. The guy's tone was clearly hostile. Trouble so early in the morning. Subaru didn't bother to argue. He intended to ignore it and sit back down. But Isaac wouldn't easily pass up a chance to taunt him. Want me to compensate you for the coffee? Luckily, you're always broke, so that would be... Ignoring Isaac, who was still rambling, Subaru silently walked past him to leave. Isaac hadn't finished his sentence. He felt deeply insulted, his eyes filled with anger. He called after Subaru, hey. He angrily wanted to start a fight. I'm pretty sure I warned you last time. What? You got a problem? Suddenly, he impulsively grabbed Subaru's collar. You bastard. He got close to Subaru's face and threatened. Wipe that smug look off your face. You think I'm just going to let this go? If you wanted to get beaten that badly, you should have just said so. It'll crush you again, just like in the old days. Just as you wish. Subaru looked tiredly at Isaac, who was acting crazy. He grabbed the guy's wrist and replied gently, Sorry, but... Subaru threw Isaac's hand off. I don't have time for that today. Subaru's grip was not light. It left a bruise on Isaac's wrist. Isaac was shocked, unable to believe it. Has he always been this strong? Subaru walked away, nonchalantly. Let's just say you paid for my coffee. Thanks for the treat. He left, leaving Isaac stunned and alone in the cafe, suddenly having to pay for the coffee. He yelled, H-. Hey, get back here. Isaac's shouts didn't make Subaru turn back. The cafe door slammed shut like a slap to Isaac's face. He sighed. I was planning to climb the tower, quietly. He angrily cracked his knuckles. First it was Subaru Namakakami, now it's Subaru Hasoi. He didn't even bother with the coffee anymore and left, feeling furious. They all keep pissing me off. At that moment, Subaru was strolling down the street when he suddenly remembered something. Oh, right. His fingers typed a message to someone. Scene changed to a bathroom. Hasuka was relaxing in the bathtub. Her phone chimed with a notification of a new message. The screen displayed, from Namakakami Subaru. Let's meet once. Inside a dungeon, a ray of light shone down, clearly illuminating the scene below. Monster corpses were scattered everywhere. The battle had just ended. The sword in Subaru's hand was still glowing red. Subaru stood before the boss door. A notification appeared. Entering the dungeon's boss room, the lair of the exiled lizard man. Another notification appeared. Greed level 3 negates the side effects of the nameless demon sword. Subaru thought seriously before entering the battle. I've gradually gotten used to this body, but from above, in the pitch-black space, a flame gradually rushed down. A giant lizard, its entire body covered in furious flames, charged forward. The system displayed. Boss Salamence has appeared. The monster let out a ferocious roar. Ria! Subaru charged forward without hesitation. As he attacked, he thought carefully to prevent an accident like last time and master how to use lightning. I need to test it. What is the maximum power? With that, he and the salamander charged at each other. He used lightning, channeling it into his legs. By transferring power to his legs, Subaru easily jumped high. Subaru rushed forward, feeling as if he were reliving the golden age of his previous life. The monster also charged, its mouth open, preparing to launch an attack. A blast of fire shot straight at Subaru. He immediately channeled lightning into his sword. The system displayed. Lightning channeled into the nameless demon sword. Subaru swung the demon sword hard. His slash tore the monster's flame in two. The system continuously announced. Greed level 3 negates the side effects of lightning. Negation failed. Fatigue increased. Subaru ignored the warning. He still wanted to test his strength and swung the sword once more. This time, the demon sword's slash cut across the monster's body, forming a perfect arc. Upon victory, his system announced, Dungeon conquered. Lair of the exiled lizard man. Level up. +1 strength. +1 stamina. +1 stamina. Subaru left the dungeon. By now, it was already getting dark. He glanced at his stats. Fatigue, 61. Subaru thought to himself, in admiration, the stamina consumption reduction effect is better than I thought. I still have plenty of strength left. With this, it should be fine even if the power increases. But, he sighed, looking at the screen. The screen displayed, Greed, Ranked E, Type, Skill, Level 3. Negates the side effects of skills and items used by the player. Can be upgraded for 40,000. Subaru was weary. Isn't requiring double the reputation points to level up a bit harsh? As Subaru was sadly thinking, I wish someone would just appear and offer me a good job, a voice came from somewhere. Hunting? He looked in the direction of the sound. From a distance, a tall figure appeared in the dark night. The voice was very familiar. The figure slowly approached and asked again, You hunting? A familiar face slowly appeared in the moonlight. It was Isaac. This time, he seemed happy to see Subaru. We've known each other for a long time, but this is a real surprise. Meeting someone he didn't want to see right after a fight, Subaru was frustrated. You're really persistent. Isaac waved his hand. I really thought about it, but my anger has reached its limit. He continued to move closer to Subaru. He provoked. Why don't we just end it right here? Subaru looked at the man in front of him, thinking with disgust, this guy. Scene change. In the night, a crowded district, beautiful young women strolled beneath magnificent buildings. Hawkeye entered a small bar. While looking for someone, a hand was raised to wave him over. Over here, John was already seated. He smiled happily when he saw Hawkeye. Hawkeye greeted him warmly. John, long time no see. John replied politely, Yeah, is the stream going smoothly? Hawkeye sat down and casually picked up a glass of water from the table. Well, so I guess. Most of the viewers are the same, so the numbers haven't changed much. John took a sip of water and said slowly, Actually, that's better. Things that are built up slowly don't collapse easily. Hawkeye pouted upon hearing John's lecture. He wondered, By the way, why did you suddenly call me? You probably didn't call me out here just for tea. So, just say it. John praised, My God. You're as sharp as your name, Hawkeye. He began, It's about Subaru Nargarite Kame, the one you reviewed yesterday. Were you serious about that? Hawkeye also took a sip of water and answered seriously, That rookie? As I said, I think his talent is greater than Subaru Nagumo's was at his peak. But whether he can climb to that position is another story. His eyes were pensive as he thought about that interesting matter. After hearing his assessment, John pondered, I see, so that's your evaluation. Hawkeye asked cheerfully, why do you ask? John had no intention of hiding it either, in planning to recruit him for the company. Hearing him say that, he immediately agreed. As expected, you have excellent taste. But he has too few viewers for Saw 10 to recruit him, right? His recognition is too low. John fiddled with the glass in his hand. You're right, but hearing what you said makes me confident in him. Then he made a suggestion. Let's do a collaboration between you and Subaru. Increasing his viewer count and recognition is our job. On Subaru's side, Isaac was still challenging him. It's just the two of us here right now. Subaru just wanted to go home. He answered indifferently, yeah, that's right. Isaac was still rambling on. This only happened because you got carried into the dungeon, you know? He acted contemptuously. Look at you, not a single scratch. You probably ran away immediately. That's why I told you to know your place, buddy. He kept talking nonstop like a machine, with a look that said he only got here by luck. Don't tell me you think you become Subaru Namakakami or something, huh? He got close to him and sneered, dreaming of mastering lightning like that streamer. Isaac put his hand on Subaru's shoulder. That piece of trash Namakakami. If he's already dead, he should just stay buried in the cemetery. He seemed annoyed. All of you are an eyesore to me. Damn it. After saying that, he looked at Subaru as if seeking agreement. Right? Subaru looked helplessly at the noisy guy in front of him. He couldn't help but sigh. I never expected there'd be an era full of Subaru Namakakami imitators. Subaru also had a question he wanted to ask. He'll ask you something too. Why do you see me as an enemy to such an extent? Isaac didn't expect him to ask. He gave a simple reason. It's because your name has Subaru in it. Subaru was curious. So why do you hate that name? Everyone likes that name, right? Isaac hesitated at his question. You know who my father is, and you still ask that? Subaru was even more confused, not understanding what was going on. What does this conversation have to do with your parents? You're a grown man. Why do you bring your parents into everything? Isaac introduced Benhard, a high ranker of the 9th floor. That name rang a bell, making Subaru ask in surprise, Benhard? Don't tell me. The one-slash-swordsman? A memory from his past life appeared in Subaru's mind. A hurried, urgent announcement rang out. Something unthinkable has happened. Subaru Nargarite Kame from Lamnan, who appeared like a comet from Earth, has defeated Benhard of the ancient continent with just a single blow. Subaru left, leaving Benhard lying in the middle of a completely devastated land. It happened in less than 30 seconds. He lay in a pool of blood, struggling to get up. Wait, I can still fight. Before he could finish, his arm went limp. That was how a high ranker of the 9th floor was defeated. Back in reality, Subaru's mention of the name enraged Isaac. You son of a bitch, don't say that name so casually. Subaru questioned, so, to sum it up, the reason you see me as an enemy is because of the one-slash-swordsman? No. Is it because of your father's nickname? His brow furrowed slightly as he continued. Do you have any idea how much Subaru Hasoi had to suffer because of that? Isaac didn't want to hear another word. Shut up. If you say any more nonsense... He started to attack. Flames engulfed the two of them. Isaac growled no. Subaru just stood there, watching to see what he would do. Isaac's hands slowly transformed. He declared, no more talking, just die. Isaac gathered a fireball in his hand, his mouth declaring once more, I hate Subaru Nargarite. I hate Subaru Nargarite so much it makes me sick. He was nothing special, but he hogged all the attention and acted all high and mighty because of it. Because their guild master was like that, the others got conceited and died with him. He said with a hateful expression, they deserved it. Right now, somewhere in hell, they're probably rotting away, getting what they deserve. Thinking this, Isaac smiled with satisfaction. He launched his attack while constantly cursing. You, having that name, is your ultimate misfortune. His attack flew towards Subaru, causing a huge explosion. He sighed, thinking he had killed Subaru. Oh, I couldn't control my power. After all, he was a friend. What terrible thing have I done? Isaac was lost in delusions about his own power. Next, maybe he'll go kill that mass streamer bastard. Suddenly, Subaru's voice echoed from within the ashes. A mask, you say? Isaac was horrified. He couldn't believe he could still be alive after that attack. Subaru emerged majestically from the thick smoke and fire. He appeared in the same outfit from the live stream Isaac had just mentioned. You mean this? A patch of ground was scorched from Isaac's attack, the flames still burning. Isaac couldn't believe the sight before him. No way. Subaru was still alive. There wasn't even a single wound on his body. He was shocked. You took my flames head on, how? Subaru wasn't in a hurry. He just calmly replied to Isaac's anger. It's annoying, isn't it? As he finished, he suddenly rushed straight at Isaac, listening to a spoiled brat like you. A punch with terrifying power was thrown straight into Isaac's stomach, making his eyes widen. Isaac's pupils trembled violently. He let out a groan, ugh. Isaac collapsed at Subaru's feet, screaming in pain, ARGH. Blood poured from Isaac's mouth along with screams of pain. Subaru looked down with contempt, bad-mouthing them. Isaac wiped the blood from his mouth with his hand, trying to force out each word. Why you impossible? Subaru calmly questioned. Today, who is the person standing before you? Subaru Hasoi, the one you bullied and made cry? This masked Subaru? Or Subaru Nargarite Kame of Lamnan? He gently removed his mask, his gaze fixed on the man collapsing before him. Isaac was still defiant. Gr. Domes Wisma. So you're the streamer, Subaru Nargarite. He struggled to his feet, a mocking expression on his face. What the hell? Lightning isn't that big of a deal. Even trash like you can learn it. As he gathered power in his hand, he continued arrogantly, You think, with that level of skill, you could defeat me? The fact that a pathetic weakling, not even worthy of carrying my shoes, could learn it means I'm even better than Namakakami Subaru of Lamnan, right? Subaru stood still, listening to him spout nonsense. Isaac roared in anger. Isn't that right, you bastard? He suddenly attacked? In contrast to his hurriedness, Subaru just gently swung his arm. With a single strike, Isaac's arm was severed and flew high into the air. It all happened in the blink of an eye, so fast that Isaac didn't understand what had just happened. Subaru gently criticized. Too bad. Wrong answer. I'm amazed you can spew so much meaningless, completely off-topic nonsense. Subaru's sword was pointed straight at Isaac's neck. He stammered, Wait? What? What do you mean? He fearfully recalled the questions. Do you have any idea how much Subaru had to suffer because of that? It's annoying, isn't it? A brat like you bad-mouthing them. It was only then that Isaac realized the gravity of the situation. He trembled uncontrollably. Don't tell me. Subaru patiently watched Isaac try to stammer. Wire. Lamnan's Namakakami. As soon as he finished the sentence, Subaru delivered a fatal blow. His blood gushed out like a waterfall. He quickly finished him off. Time's up. Blood from his body dripped onto the ground. He quickly collapsed. Subaru put his mask back on and left. Even that was too lenient of me. Subaru said to Subaru Hasoi's body, Consider this my thanks for letting me borrow your body. Scene change. The next morning, at the same familiar cafe, but today the staff was buzzing more than usual. What's that? Is he a Subaru Namakakami fanboy or something? Does he have no shame? Looks like he's zoned out. Subaru was still sitting in the cafe, staring at the device in his hand, oblivious to the gossip behind him. As a streamer, they'll stick to Subaru Nargarite's policy of not revealing my real face. It's a huge advantage, preventing the enemy from knowing who I am. Outside, a girl's figure walked in. Sorry, I made you wait. The person who entered was Hasuka. She blushed shyly. Nice to meet you. I am the one who contacted you. She quickly introduced herself. I'm Hasuka, a manager. Subaru politely stood up. I'm Subaru. Hasuka nervously shook his hand. I'm truly honored to meet you. She blushed, looking up at Subaru's figure, and couldn't help but marvel. They really looked so alike. She started to think further. If Subaru Namakakami was still alive and came back, what if he's hiding his face with a mask because he's an imposter? She had been staring at Subaru for so long that he wondered, is something wrong? Hasuka flusteredly realized she had gone a bit too far. Yes, Hasuka recalled John's strict instructions. Making a good first impression to win the client's trust is key. Understand? Absolutely do not show any untrustworthy attitude. She worried that she had already messed up from the start. Subaru didn't understand why she was pulling at her hair. He spoke up and asked, Are you a fan of Subaru Nargarite Kame? Hearing that, Hasuka's eyes lit up. Yes, an extremely passionate fan. Subaru explained, I'm not the real deal, so calm down. Also, manager, I think you're younger than me. Hasuka got excited. No, I'm a fan of you too. She's a true fan. When her favorite topic was brought up, she started talking nonstop. Actually, I've been following you since you had no viewers. That means I was your first viewer when you defeated a bat and passed Greg's trial. But then you chose the lightning trial to have a fair fight with him. I was so surprised. And after that, Subaru didn't expect her to be such a passionate fan. Meanwhile, Hasuka was still chattering away. With such quick and skillful movements, just watching made me feel refreshed. When you immediately tamed it, my hands were sweating. I've encountered the nucleus shard before. Subaru was amazed as he listened to her every word. Is she really my first viewer? She remembers more than I do. Inside his mask, Subaru smiled happily. I was so carefree back then. It's surprising that you were watching. Being recognized, Hasuka became even happier. It was amazing, wasn't it? I think this is fate. That's why I went straight to the company and begged them to let me be your manager. After expressing her fangirl thoughts, she quickly returned to her professional demeanor. All right, let's be professional from now on. To gain his trust, the contract is prepared. Since you're probably busy, let me summarize. She placed the contract firmly on the table, regarding things like commercials, event broadcast clips, etc. etc. We will help create all sorts of added value that can be generated using the Namikakami symbol. Subaru took the contract and asked, so what do I have to do? Hasuka replied, just keep streaming as usual. That's all we need. The job was so simple it made Subaru suspicious. Just streaming obscurely like that? Hasuka nervously explained, because you're the first person to master lightning, and, starting from the department head, our entire company holds you in high regard. She secretly encouraged herself. Good job, me. One last push. She asked excitedly one last time, so what do you think? Are the terms satisfactory? Suddenly, Subaru asked, are all the managers at SAW 10 like you? Hasuka? Subaru's question extinguished Hasuka's smile. She nervously shrank back, and no, everyone else is much more reliable and professional than me. And not that bad either. But, seeing her so flustered, Subaru had to quickly correct himself. No, that's not what I meant by the question. Subaru's eyes scanned Hasuka. He mentally analyzed her, judging by the aura she was emitting. She's not an ordinary player. For someone with her level of skill to just be a manager, Hasuka mumbled anxiously, we're doomed, 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 doomed. Inside the mask, Subaru's face showed a hint of worry. In other words, from now on, the opponent's ill face will be much stronger. There's no time to rest. I have to keep speeding up. At this moment, Hasuka was worried. Her face fell. She had another internal monologue. I absolutely have to make a trustworthy impression. What if he refuses? At this rate, should I force him to sign? Contrary to her thoughts, Subaru extended his hand, accepting. I understand clearly that you are someone I can trust. Hasuka was surprised, not expecting him to agree. Subaru said sincerely, please help me out. She was moved to tears, happily grasping his hand. I should be the one saying that. I look forward to working with you. The stream screen lit up. Subaru appeared. This time his stream already had quite a few followers. The comment section buzzed with excitement when he appeared. He's here. Hello, everyone. I was waiting for you. Hey, newbie. That's too close. I see that mask. Same content again today. The stream screen showed the number 703 viewers. Subaru was amazed. 700 viewers so soon after starting the stream. This is thanks to Hasuka's announcement. Yeah, earlier, Hasuka had posted an announcement. Skill distribution guide announcement. Not wanting to keep the audience waiting, Subaru started to enter the dungeon. Well then, let's begin right away. System announcement. Beginning Act 6, Legend. The scene shifts to a forest. It's raining heavily. An army is camped here. Inside a tent, many soldiers are gathered, all surrounding their leader. Bellows asked, where is our benefactor? Falcon replied, yes. Another soldier interjected. I find it suspicious. Should we trust someone who isn't even a knight? A few others also agreed. That's right. It's hard to believe an outsider would suddenly appear and single-handedly defeat the giant tribe's boss, unless Bellows witnessed it directly. You might have been tricked. Was it really the giant tribe's boss? Wasn't it just a soldier? Bellows was furious that his soldiers were insulting his benefactor. How can you people say such things? Suddenly, a loud call came from outside. Sir Bellows. A soldier announced, the benefactor has woken up. Bellows quickly ran to him. Benefactor, are you all right? Subaru walked in. Thanks to you, I can walk around normally without any help. When Subaru appeared, the soldier's suspicion grew. Is that the hero who defeated the giant tribe's boss? I want to be polite, but he doesn't look very strong. Of course, Subaru knew what these people were thinking. It seems you don't believe I defeated it, or perhaps you don't want to believe it. Last time, Hasaka had shown Subaru a trick by performing a pre-save pose. I can adjust the mic frequency so that only the audience can hear my voice. Subaru thought, thankfully, this is a pretty useful feature in a boring situation like this. He walked past the soldiers, cursing under his breath, so shameless. The comments started to get interested. Don't underestimate him. Did you just laugh under your mask? So confident. First, thank you. A polite hand was extended. An elderly soldier introduced himself. I am Jay. Subaru replied politely. It's a pleasure to meet you. That's right, Jay expressed. I was worried about protecting the village, but everyone was trampled. Subaru asked, puzzled, trampled? Jay said sadly yes by him. Jay's evasiveness confused Subaru. Him? You mean there's someone even more dangerous than the boss? Jay agreed. Yes, he recounted. As you may already know, the true giants, the ones who waged war against the gods, were sealed away somewhere and disappeared. Most of the giants here are more like the thoughts or traces they left behind. Suddenly, Jay trembled as he mentioned him. However, the giant that appeared after you killed the boss is different. He's close to the giants of legend. It's unbelievable that such an entity still exists. His story ignited the stream's comment section. So does that mean it's an 8th floor level boss? No one has ever gotten that far, so no way. If he's real, how can we possibly defeat him? Not only the comments, but all the soldiers were in an uproar after hearing Jay's story. Subaru replied calmly. Then we have no other choice but to defeat it. Jay was impressed that he wasn't afraid. Oh, quite confident, aren't you? He reminded him, we are in a position where we must beg for help. But that's surely an impossible request. People kept mocking, he's only saying that because he hasn't faced it yet. Bello spoke up, benefactor. He recounted, there's a legend passed down from ancient times. At the peak of the towering Millennium Mountain, a fragment of lightning is hidden. He paused for a moment, and the only one who can find it. I believe it can only be you, benefactor. In the village, villagers were desperately trying to flee. Smoke and fire raged everywhere. A horde of giants entered the village, but behind them, an even larger shadow appeared. It repeated, my child. A giant, 10 times the size of the others, also entered the village. It mumbled strange words, my child. It snatched a soldier, who screamed in panic, ah, stop. The giant lifted the human it had just caught. I will. Then it crushed the human in its hand like a toy. It growled, I will send you off with the blood of humanity. Subaru witnessed the entire scene from above. Riding his horse, he looked down at the village. That thing, the comments section exploded at the sight. The one he defeated before, was its child? It's huge. Is it a real giant? Subaru pulled the reins and turned to leave. He looked back one last time with a sigh. He's really trying to kill everyone. The comments below continued to roll in. The test is trying to kill us. LOL. Seriously, impossible things are happening. LOL, the test is being nerfed. Before he left, Bellows instructed Subaru, it will take about 3 days for the giant to reach here. If you can't find the lightning by then, just run. That's the only way to protect your life, benefactor. Before Subaru stood Millennium Mountain, a peak that pierced the sky. He was on his way there. To defeat the giant, the power of lightning was essential. That might be the key to this trial. A few skeptical comments appeared. Retry at least twice. Probably. Reading those comments, Subaru confidently declared, no, there isn't a single trial in this tower that I cannot conquer. He suddenly realized his slip of the tongue. Damn it, I accidentally used my old catchphrase. The comments section grew excited. So confident, LOL. I've heard that line before. Is it a catchphrase? Suddenly, the system spammed notifications. Safety Essex has registered a mission, so if he defeats it, he'll get 3,000 reputation points. Subaru Inurakami has registered a mission. For an impossible mission. Part-time job has registered a mission. It's just a small amount of money. Subaru thought happily, good, I wasn't found out. And that's not a bad reaction, right? Subaru pulled the reins hard. The horse neighed and came to a stop. He had reached his destination. Subaru dismounted. Subaru stared intently inside. A fragment of lightning is hidden here. Before him was a colossal cliff face. He began to search among the boulders. Subaru recalled Balah's words. The fragment of lightning is something from legend. Whether it's a special power, an item, or even a person, there's actually no information at all. Subaru had asked, do you know how to get it? Bellows had replied regretfully, Unfortunately, we only know the location of the mountain and the legend. But one thing is certain. Bellows affirmed, the one who once wielded the lightning destroyed the giants that stood in their way. Hasaka was on the phone. A voice came from the other end. What is it? Hasaka shouted with joy. The contract is finalized, department head. On the other end, Junior asked doubtfully, what did you say? Really? Was he proud? You did it. Hasaka has finally become a decent person. Receiving the praise, she happily stroked her handbag and rushed into her room. Hasaka was excited. That's right. With this, he'll finally get some respect too. Wait, are you praising me? John replied, of course. I already saw their potential. But there's something I want to talk to you about soon. Before he could finish his sentence, Hasaka turned off the device. She happily plopped onto her bed to relax. All right, work's done. Time to watch the stream. She happily turned on Subaru's stream. Watching on screen and also being there in person, this is an otaku's ultimate bliss. The stream was just getting to the part where Subaru confidently declared, there isn't a single trial in this tower that I cannot conquer. Her eyes, glued to the stream, suddenly widened. She sat bolt upright, her face filled with disbelief. Huh? Hasaka mumbled to herself, a phrase from over 20 years ago, which is spoken so naturally. Meanwhile, back with Subaru, a large boulder began to shake violently from a powerful impact. The comments section was buzzing. Is he using his bare hands? Don't tell me you're desperate. Who said that? A deep dent appeared on the boulder. Subaru didn't stop. He challenged, let's see which is harder. He swung his arm again with all his might. Let's fight to the end. The punch created a massive explosion, shattering the rock into pieces. Debris rained down around Subaru. Finally, he saw what he was looking for. Found it. With firm footing on the large stones, Subaru clenched his fist. Inner monologue, of course you guys will be wondering. This feeling can't be conveyed through the stream. A colossal lightning energy, calling out powerfully to its own kind. Behind this door, he stepped forward, swift and resolute. The comments flooded in. That door is huge. Looks like something the giants would use. How do you open it without a key? Just break it. That's what you're good at. Yeah, but how? He gently reached out to touch the door. Inside, rays of golden light slowly emerged. He thought, one obvious clue. In other words, system voice generating lightning. Greed level 3 is nullifying the side effects of lightning. Inner monologue. The real trial is probably inside. A powerful punch landed. Subaru leaped up. If you're going to call for me so enthusiastically, he shouted, then I will answer. A surge of golden energy flew out, piercing the stone wall. He watched the entire scene, his heart completely calm. The door slowly opened. He walked in deliberately. The comment continued, he's just pushing forward. A huge event is about to happen. Let's go. Subaru was startled by something he saw. His steps suddenly halted. Then, as if he had made up his mind, he continued forward with a determined expression. System voice, entering the path of lightning. You cannot leave until the stage is complete. Everyone stood there quietly, each to their own task. Jay asked Bellows, do you really think he can obtain the lightning? Bellows replied with confidence, he can. I'm certain of it. He continued, even though he's an outsider, you place a lot of faith in him. He smiled happily. He has already proven himself. There's no reason to doubt him. So what if it's lightning? We're all going to die anyway. A trembling voice spoke up from behind. You don't understand. Hawkeye bit his lip. That giant, the power it possesses, I experienced it firsthand in that village. Bellows sat down beside him. Even so, we can't give up, can we? Let's place our faith in him just this once. In that young hero who has done everything for us without asking for anything in return. His eyes welled with tears. That's easy for you to say. Before he could finish, everyone panicked. The ground shook violently. A terrified voice cried out, we're in trouble. Someone rushed in, panicked. He's here. Everyone stared in terror, their mouths agape in disbelief. In the cold cave, Subaru calmly observed his surroundings as he slowly advanced. Inner monologue. What do you want me to do in here? The comments poured in. There's nothing here. Absolutely nothing. So it's empty? The lightning is just too fast to see. His eyes were pensive. That makes sense. Before it strikes, lightning is just scattered charges in the air. So of course I can't see it. This isn't a trial of sight, then. The name of this trial, the path of lightning, and the powerful bolt deep inside is calling to me. It's pull. Suddenly, he froze. his pupils constricting violently. He slammed his fist into the ground. Perhaps this trial is the invisible lightning scattered in the air reacts more strongly the deeper I go. Suddenly, a golden flash and a rock hurtled towards him, creating an explosion. The comments resumed. What was that? What the hell? In a monologue, I must be right. Even so, I have to keep moving forward. You really have no taste. It seems they're testing my endurance this time. His gaze sharpened. Basically, if I can't take it, I die. System voice. E. Lowry has donated 100 reputation points. What are you scared of? Many more people continued to donate reputation points. He strode forward aggressively, his expression resolute. His gaze was sharp. Mission reward. He says to the stream. Thank you all very much. Scene change. A pot of soup boils, steaming heavily. Singer sat quietly on chair. He sighed, a thoughtful look in his eyes. Vina burst through the door, startling him. He quickly covered something with his hand, surprising her. She breathed out, teasing him, what are you hiding? You're watching something dirty, aren't you? He stammered, I'm not hiding anything. My eyes are just tired, that's all. She sat down beside him with a playful smile. I hear hair grows faster when you do that, you know? He was exasperated. Don't say weird things. I told you it's not that. She continued, ever since he said that, I've stopped watching the stream, but I guess it can't be helped. He stammered, I see. So, what are you planning to do here? She took a bite of cake, looking nonchalant. What's with that reaction? Are you saying I can't relax on the sofa? He stammered, his voice trembling slightly. And no, it's not like that. If that's the case, I'll endure it and do my best. He yelled in frustration. You don't have to say it like that. She covered her ears, annoyed. Hey, my eardrums are about to burst. Don't just yell like that. He continued to shout. Just rest however you want. Don't pay any attention to me. His hand trembled, sweating profusely as he clutched the phone. He thought, she's so stubborn and never listens to anyone. She frowned. What a weirdo. She stood up in annoyance. This is so irritating. He asked curiously, where are you going? You know you could stay longer. You could eat some bread or even lie down if you want. Seeing her go into her room and slam the door, he sighed in relief. He held up the phone. That was close. She almost found out. If she found out I was watching the stream, she'd definitely raise hell again. I don't even want to imagine it. His expression was worried. Inner monologue. Even if our positions were reversed, Subaru wouldn't forget us. The voice from the phone echoed. So, basically, if I can't take it, I die. Singer was lost in thought. His personality and the way he talks are exactly like Subaru's. Phone. Thanks for the mission reward. However, he's nothing like Subaru when it comes to desperately grinding for reputation points. I don't know what's going on. Suddenly, a gentle hand landed on his shoulder. A deep, husky voice said, you should be asking yourself that question. Vina placed her hand on his shoulder. His face went pale. Her voice was menacing. Did you really think I wouldn't notice? Trying to trick me? You're still too green. A mechanical voice resounded. Create the path of lightning. Tears slowly fell as Subaru remained silent, feeling how fleeting everything was. He walked slowly, as if he had no strength left. Suddenly, sources of golden light surrounded him. The system's voice rang out, progress, 2.3%. His arm became sensitive, trembling nonstop. In his heart, a familiar feeling arose. When it came to lightning, I've faced it more times than I can count. His gaze turned sharp and determined. The system's voice hurried, progress, 2.3%. He thought, there's still a long way to go. He continued walking, still quite hesitant in his heart. But let's just assume the goal is very close now. Comment popped up. Why isn't he running? Wouldn't it be better if he ran? Hurry up, please. He looked coldly at the comments. I might not read the chat from now on. Seriously, just run. Looks like he's too injured to read the chat, clinging to life, afraid of death. He thought, reaching the goal is a given, but if possible, I want to aim for more than that. Subaru's face appeared on the computer screen. Hawkeye stared pensively at the live stream. He thought of John's words, that he and Subaru Naruto should collaborate. Thinking of that, he said coldly, how long has it been since John personally handled the project? John put down a glass of water and spoke up. I've always told you this, right? In entertainment streaming, your job is only half of it. You have to understand this is part of the assessment. He slowly continued. Who is my family? And which players exist in this era is what determines popularity. He gave an appreciative smile. That's right. Subaru Nakarami's stream isn't about fan interaction. It's more like a veteran player's vlog. Subaru may be a rookie streamer, but he just needs to continue his usual commentary style. His voice was slow. This might be a real chance to ride a comet, to become a star that can shine with him. Hearing that, Hawkeye seemed motivated. He clenched his fist as if he had made a decision. His eyes flashed, pupils constricting fiercely, then he smiled. You can run away here because you're not confident about climbing the tower, right? I also want to become greater than anyone else, you know? He quietly looked up at the sky, calm. He sat on his chair, hands lazily placed behind his head. A star. Reaching out to touch a distant star. Can I really become like them? Returning to reality, he was shocked to find himself reaching for something. His voice was helpless. What am I doing in the middle of work? He looked closely at the screen and suddenly shouted, "This is... Hey, are you crazy?" On the screen, the live stream was still ongoing. Subaru stood there, struggling against the golden energy. His whole body was severely injured, but he still tried to resist, moving forward. His steps were trembling, but he stubbornly took another firm step. Subaru was constantly panting in pain. In his heart, the stronger the lightning, the deeper it goes into my body. He looked down at his hands, thinking this should be enough. He continued. Even the smallest meridians throughout the body, including the run and do channels, are beginning to be filled with lightning. The mechanical voice resounded, "Progress, 20.7%. The process of clearing the minor meridians is underway. Lightning is stabilizing in the body. Magic power +1. He thought, I have to control it, no matter what. Fast. Ren and Do are the Boda's central pathways. Minor meridians are the vessels connecting the entire body. Clearing the minor meridians means internal energy has spread to every corner of the body." He seemed quite worried. Subaru didn't have to go through the minor meridian purification process. In other words, I'm taking a shortcut. The system's voice was cold, adverse status, electrocution starting. Fresh drops of blood trickled down. Subaru thought, normally, people would do this with their own mana. Relying on external lightning makes it easier, but brings unimaginable pain. Subaru slowly closed his eyes with a look of resignation. Drops of blood fell, dyeing the ground red along the path he walked. Hasaka sat on her bed holding a phone. She was watching Subaru's live stream. She looked worried, sweat dripping in large beads. In her heart, clearing the minor meridians. Are you planning to do that here? It moves inside your body, not relying on your mana or internal energy, but on an external force. The pain must be indescribable. Most people can't bear it and would surely pass out. Even though dying in a trial won't affect reality. She stared at Subaru's image on the screen. The pain is still just as real. She gritted her teeth, her body trembling. So why? Her eyes welled with tears. Why go this far? Subaru continued to walk amidst the resounding mechanical voice. Progress, 50.3%. The process of clearing the minor meridians is underway. Lightning is stabilizing in the body. Magic power +1. His body covered in wounds, he collapsed to the ground. It's all my fault. He was filled with despair. It's like I was the one who killed him. Mr. Zian stared at his phone screen. He spoke up. I've always said this, right? There's no trial that can't be conquered. He confidently asserted, don't worry. He spoke before everyone's joyful reaction. In the end, I am the winner. Subaru's voice was weak, seemingly without strength. He seemed to be going crazy. If I hadn't been so careless. If I hadn't pushed them with my overconfidence. His eyes were clouded. Tears streamed down. Then no one would have had to die. Kazuki, his face stained with blood, spoke up. Honestly. He gave a contemptuous smile. You all failed because you were too arrogant. Subaru went mad, running forward quickly, all. Behind his steps were pools of fresh blood. He continuously blamed himself. It's my fault. Helpless, he collapsed to the ground, seemingly without any strength left. He panted heavily, his wounded hands trying to reach out as if to grasp one last ray of hope. Scene changed to a prairie with endless green grass. Subaru glanced at the leaves flying around him and muttered, "Where is this?" He suddenly noticed a group of people sitting around a fire ahead. Subaru froze for a moment, his whole body suddenly tensing. His pupils dilated to their widest as he exclaimed, "Everyone! Suhei, Suya, Keiyo, even Siegel and Joanna." Subaru hurriedly ran towards them, wondering, is this all just a dream? Soon, he was approaching their backs. Subaru's eyes welled with tears as he smiled faintly. Of course, it must be, right? Oh God, what a disgusting nightmare. Hey, at least listen to what I dreamed about. Just then, a voice rang out. Subaru, you really led us to our deaths. I don't want to die. These words shocked Subaru. Suhei, Suya. Chino, sitting to one side, interjected, you always talked about big things, and in the end, her body now had a hole in the middle of her abdomen. Her tone was full of resentment. Why didn't you protect us? He opened his eyes wide, only able to call her name, Chino. Immediately after, a blazing red fire erupted in the middle. Drenched in sweat, Subaru stammered, unable to speak. He could do nothing against the fire that was burning them all. Subaru reached out his arm and shouted, wait. He screamed helplessly in the sea of fire. Everyone, don't go, wait a minute. Distraught, Subaru squeezed his eyes shut, enduring this loss. He collapsed, constantly muttering, please. But the fire blazed even higher, creating a blinding flash of light. That light brought Subaru back to reality. He dropped to one knee, thinking, so this is the dream state that often occurs while clearing the meridians. I almost suffered a chi deviation. The system immediately announced, progress, 97.87%. Clearing minor meridians. Lightning is stabilizing in your body. Magic power +1. Subaru's face darkened as he wondered, who came up with this crazy trial? He stood up straight before the blazing golden lightning, thinking, thank you for reminding me why I'm still alive. Kazuki's face gradually appeared in Subaru's mind. Scene changed to a chaotic place. People stood behind a line of knights, everyone holding weapons, terrified. A giant beast instantly appeared just outside the barrier. They could only wait for the moment to charge. Suddenly, it bared its teeth in a grin, looking defiant. Seeing this, the knights turned to discuss. Are you kidding me? Is that thing the real boss? So the masked guy abandoned us. Suddenly, a voice from behind made the two turn around. Our benefactor will definitely return. Bellows walked over and affirmed with certainty. You entrusted the fate of this village to a stranger whose name you don't even know, and now you dare to doubt him? They hesitated and denied it. We didn't. He frowned in disdain. How shameful. And you call yourselves knights? Suddenly, a hand patted Balah's shoulder. You're right, Deo added. Before blaming others, we should remember that protecting the village is our duty. Sir Jay then drew his sword. Deo pointed his sword forward and declared, Knights are not the ones who are protected. They're the ones who protect others. With those words, he rushed forward at the speed of light. Deo raised his sword, inspiring the crowd behind him to follow. Today, let us die as true knights. On Subaru's side, the system announced progress, 99%. A circle with a blazing golden orb immediately appeared. He stared at it in confusion, wondering, what is that? But based on the progress, that must be the target. Suddenly, it displayed, fatigue has reached 97. This made Subaru pause for a moment as streams of golden spiritual energy pierced through his body. Subaru ran towards the source of the energy, telling himself, one more step. The system warned, you must reduce your fatigue. Going any further will be very dangerous. Yet, he still lifted one foot. Then, at the same time, a foot stomped hard on the ground. It was Deo, who had built up momentum to jump up. He swung his sharp sword to one side. Deo used all his strength to slash decisively at the beast. Blood instantly sprayed from its body. The beast looked up and let out a piercing roar. It bent down and threw a punch towards Deo, but missed. Meanwhile, Bellows was charging forward with his sword in hand. He shouted loudly, leave the rest to me. Bellows quickly stepped on a nearby rock and used its force to leap in front of the beast. It was momentarily surprised and looked up at Bellows charging towards it. He tightened his grip on the hilt of his sword, his face filled with killing intent. A second later, Bellows landed a slash right across the beast's face. It gritted its teeth, growling in annoyance. Then the beast fell backward, chunks of flesh flying off. Its whole body crashed to the ground just as Bellows landed to the side. The other knights saw this and cheered joyfully. We did it! Sir Bellows and Sir Deo finally took it down. Just die. Stomping around here like you own the place. You filthy monster. It's all thanks to you, Deo. Bellows exclaimed, the most dangerous one you warned us about is dead. We can finally rest. He bent over, panting, and replied, no. Deo looked up and continued, it wasn't the one I mentioned. Those other people changed their tune faster than flipping a pancake. Turns out it wasn't so tough after all. It's just that Sir Deo and Sir Bellows are too strong. Now we just need to finish off the remaining giants and... Before he could finish his sentence, he was stomped on by a giant foot. Deo looked in panic at the culprit and confirmed, "It's that one." Bellows screamed in fear. "This one is on a whole other level." Scene changed to Subaru. He reached for the circle. Amidst the announcement, "Progress, 99.99%. Subaru clenched it and muttered, "We'll make you apologize in hell." Then the system displayed, "Progress, 100%. His pupils lit up, his tone filled with killing intent. "Kazuki, I will take your head as a souvenir." Meanwhile, sources of brilliant golden energy were radiating around Subaru. A second later, all the streams of lightning focused on him. Subaru turned his back, thinking to himself, "Finally." He sighed in lament. "It's also over." Suddenly, long black marks began to appear in the whites of Subaru's eyes. His whole body fell back as he absorbed the energy. The system continuously announced, "Minor meridian clearing complete." Magic amplification rate increased by 20%. Casting speed for all skills increased by 20%. All stats +2. Subaru gritted his teeth and endured. "If you had enough strength for one more blow, you should have at least given me a warning." Then he lay sprawled on the shattered ground. The system displayed, "Legend Act 6 has been completed." Scene changed to John sitting pensively in front of his computer screen. He looked at the comments. "The difficulty is insane." He passed out again. "I wonder when he'll wake up this time." He muttered, "You can only be this reckless up to a certain limit." Oh, it seems he's not suited for streaming. Just then his phone rang. A call from Hawkeye. He answered, "Right now, I'm watching Subaru Naruto Tekami stream." He exclaimed, "Oh, you too? John is crazy, isn't he?" John offered a solution, calm down and explain so everyone can understand. Hawkeye smiled brightly and said, "This guy is really going to become a star. As a player and a streamer." He wondered, "You think so?" "Actually, I think it will be difficult for him. He's clearly more of a player than a streamer." He scratched his head in agreement. "That's right. That's the core content people are watching this stream for." A Subaru Namakakami, who is almost like the original. Subaru Namakakami wasn't a streamer. He was a player. In other words, they will witness the birth of the man, Subaru Namakakami. John frowned and interjected in real time. Just then, on the stream screen, Subaru's arm was seen starting to move. He struggled to get up, exciting the commentators. He woke up a bit early this time. So glad to see he's alive. Finally awake, Subaru slowly opened his eyes, his breathing growing more rapid. He put a hand to his head and cursed inwardly. "Damn it, what's my fatigue level?" The system immediately displayed 81. Subaru judged internally. "Good, it's lower than last time." The higher stats must have had an effect. That last lightning strike was unexpected, but the result isn't bad. A series of information was transmitted. Mission complete. Reputation points received. Current reputation points, 20,420. He remarked that he had saved up a considerable amount. An icon appeared. Rank, D. Skill type, raises the skill limit of items and skills used by the player. Subaru summoned his lightning orb in his hand, telling himself, "But it's still not enough to raise the skill grade. If I defeat that giant, it might be enough." And this is the key to defeating it. The orb's information appeared. Lightning spear, untradeable. Weapon type, equipment level, decent. An ancient spear carved from pure lightning. A single throw will deliver a devastating blow. Decisive. Uses remaining. 1. The comments section erupted. A super rare item with 1,000,000 credit value? That thing dropped here? Are you kidding me? By the way, it's because of his account. Subaru panted, thinking to himself, even though it's a one-time use item, you normally can't even get this on the 8th floor, let alone this early. Then he spoke aloud. Exactly. It doesn't look like a spear, right? A second later, he reached out and pressed a button. Subaru then stretched his muscles and muttered. High-grade items can change their form based on certain conditions. People immediately commented, "How do you even know that?" Dude talking like a pro now. Subaru walked into the cave alone. "All right, let's go destroy that thing." The crowd cheered through the small screen. "Blow it away with lightning. Take him down." Scene changed to Bellows. His face showed clear fear. Deo, and he stared blankly at the huge eye in front of him. The giant just stretching made everyone afraid. It tossed its long silver hair back. The beast let out a piercing scream, its mouth full of drool. The system displayed. Giant Seed has devoured the giant's record. A knight suddenly ran towards it, making Bellows shout loudly. "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" Tears streamed down his face as he laughed helplessly. "I already told you, didn't I? You people don't know anything. Oh gods, and not like those foolish people. He dropped to his knees and begged, "Please have mercy on me." The giant looked down from above and said, "Gods? Don't lump me in with those cowardly, filthy things." Deo hurriedly ran over to reason with him. "What are you doing? Get up." Bellows, "Hurry, take the villagers as far away as possible. Run." Suddenly, something made him freeze. He stood behind, screaming in panic. Deo. A loud crash resounded as the two of them met their demise right in front of Bellows. He looked at the surrounding dust and smoke and told himself, "There's no way to win." Bellows looked back, searching for a way, an escape route. He looked at the giants behind the village and realized, it's blocked. Bellows' eyes were wide open, sweat pouring down nonstop. He gritted his teeth, calming himself down. A second later, Bellows shouted, "I know who killed your child. I know exactly who did it." The giant immediately spoke up. The one who killed the boy was... It bent down, its tone filled with killing intent. "Who?" He drew his sword and said hesitantly. "It was..." Bellows pointed his sword in one direction. "Over there. The one who killed your son went that way, gathering strength to kill you and your race." As he finished speaking, he silently prayed, "Please fall for it, go that way." The giant was still looking thoughtfully in the direction Peely had pointed. It then turned around and roared, "Lies? Your words are tainted with lies. So the one who killed my son isn't here, or did you just point that ragged sword at a random place? If you don't answer right now..." Suddenly, a bolt of lightning erupted from the mountain range, making it freeze. The beast was utterly astonished by the sight, and Bellows was just as surprised. On the other side, a lightning vortex was exploding on the mountaintop. He was startled, sweat running down his face as he wondered, "Benefactor?" At this moment, Subaru stood on the mountaintop looking down. The system displayed, "The seventh screen of thunder will now begin." He muttered, "Good, this is the final screen." A bunch of comments appeared, and it got bigger again. "Right? It's still growing." Subaru thought, if something stronger than this appears, then this trial can't be called second floor content anymore. The comment section was in an uproar. "This is some kind of twisted preservation of misery. Even if I gather everyone, are you really going to fight that thing? Shouldn't you run away?" Subaru, covered in countless scratches, said, "It's fine. No need to overthink it. I just need to land one hit." He summoned the lightning spear, thinking to himself, "Right now, it's not an opponent I can face head-on. I have to take it down before it charges at me." A second later, Subaru raised it high. The system announced, "Activating lightning spear." A bolt of lightning shot straight into the sky. It displayed, "Initializing lightning spear. Activation rate, 10.1%. Then, thousands of lightning spear bolts shot up, swirling together like an endless vortex. Subaru just stood there, channeling energy into the sky. The system suddenly reported, "Fatigue has reached 84. His hands still refused to lower. "Fatigue has reached 85. Then Subaru's fingers moved as if gripping a weapon. A spear instantly appeared in his hand. Information flowed in activation rate, 33.1%. Subaru gripped it tightly. The system reported, "Greed, attempting to nullify side effects of lightning spear. Nullification failed. Compatibility is very low." He coughed up a mouthful of blood and thought with a sigh. "As expected, my skill level is still too low to use a legendary item. Even so, this body must endure." A warning sounded. "Fatigue has reached 88. Activation rate, 50%. A series of comments appeared while looking at Subaru's cold expression. Ever since he learned lightning, he's endured so much. Maybe he's starting to enjoy it. At this rate, he'll get addicted. Subaru was startled for a moment when he saw the giant looking at him. "So they've noticed, huh?" The commentators affirmed. "How could it not notice? Even my grandma could see that." He pointed his weapon forward and exclaimed, "That's right. After creating a scene this big, it would be strange if no one noticed." The system announced, "Activation rate, 78.5%. The giant looked at the streak of light before it and muttered, "Thunder." It stepped in that direction, its tone filled with hatred. "So you're the one who killed my son." The beast started running while muttering, "It's you?" Seeing this, Bellows shouted, "Where are you going?" "I'm your opponent." He glanced to his side. At this moment, several giants were charging through a sea of fire. The beast squinted at the mountain range, erupting with lightning strikes, and mumbled, "My son, Biden." Its face darkened as it continued. "You must have suffered." The beast kept moving, whispering, "I will return that suffering." The thumping of its footsteps grew louder and more intense. The beast couldn't hold back and ran at full speed. It threw a punch forward, roaring loudly, with interest for all of you. The giant powerfully leaped towards Subaru to attack, opening its wide mouth and bellowing. He gripped the lightning spear tightly. The system panel announced, initializing lightning spear. Activation rate, 88.5%. He thought to himself, the chances are 50 to 50. It's either a hit or a miss, that's it. In the chat, people were discussing. How is he going to land a hit? This is no joke, it's too fast. If he misses, he's dead, right? Subaru's eyes were fixed. Don't take your eyes off him. An image of Captain appeared, instructing him. Don't look away. No matter what happens, keep your eyes on the target. That is where a spear is thrown. Forget about throwing it straight or creating a perfect arc. Get all those unnecessary thoughts out of your head. Predicting his movements? You don't need to do that. Trajectory? Forget about it. Forget the weight and shape of the spear too. You are not like other spear users, because you are Namakakami. Hearing Captain's words, Subaru gripped the spear, a slight smile forming on his face. Back in the present, the system announced, initializing lightning spear. Activation rate, 95.2%. Subaru asked himself, so what should I do? He sighed. After all, he wasn't about to throw an ordinary spear. He smirked. In that case, it's simple. Don't throw it, shoot it. The giant was getting closer and closer, but he still held the lightning spear tightly. The chap panicked. What are you doing? Throw it now. You'll die before you're done hesitating. Subaru stared intently at the giant. Just a little longer. It stared right back at him as it charged, getting faster and faster. Its foot stomped hard on the ground, gathering power. The earth cracked. It shot forward like an arrow, clenching its fist to swing. The giant leaped high, flying over Subaru's head. Lightning from his attack shot out in all directions, creating a powerful blast. He took his stance. The notification sound rang out. Activation rate, 100%. Initialization successful. He tightened his grip, pulling the spear in his hand back. Subaru was determined. There's only one chance, no matter what. The giant beast roared, reaching its hand towards him as it descended. He thought to himself, they'll finish him in one blow. With that thought, he threw the lightning spear in his hand with all his might. The spear flew and struck the giant beast, creating an earth-shattering explosion. The giant beast let out a cry. Tears streamed down its face. Before dying, it still mumbled, Biden, then its body disintegrated. Through the smoke and dust, Subaru's feet stepped out safely. He walked out looking cool. The chat exploded. He really did it. That's insane. So damn strong. Watching this makes life worthwhile. A notification appeared. The seed that devours thunder has been defeated. The 7th screen of thunder completed. Then came a series of notifications. Level up. Strength +2. Agility +2. Health +3. Focus +1. Magic +1. Received 5.00 achievement points. Received item. Thundercore. A glowing stone appeared in front of him. Subaru reached out his hand. Thundercore? Is this it? The moment his hand touched the stone, it glowed. The dazzling light forced him to close his eyes. A moment later, he slowly opened them in astonishment. Subaru looked around. The place where he stood was a land entirely colored purple. Where am I? Suddenly, a giant human figure appeared in the sky, staring down at him. He was startled. The pressure it emitted caused Subaru pain. What is happening? I can't speak. He knelt down in the water. My body won't move. A series of figures watched him. Notifications appeared in rapid succession. An unknown being is observing you. 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 Subaru's eyes widened. Are you trying to say something to me? The thunder core in his hand glowed, light shining through his fingers. The darkness was dispelled by the thunder core, revealing a fresh sky. A notification panel appeared. The main screen of thunder will now begin. Through the thunder core, you can search for clues in the village. Subaru escaped from that strange place and finally noticed the chat. Why did he sit down when it's over? Subaru Nagara Tekamikami has ended the live stream. He's about to pass out again. He lifted his head. So it wasn't a cut scene? Sorry, I fainted. For a moment, the chat cheered when they saw him stand up. Why did you pass out so many times in just one test? As expected of Subaru, the shadow of Subaru. That truly was a legendary level test. Subaru picked up the chat panel. Ah, right, if I don't claim the prestige points. A notification appeared. Completed quest from Ancient Sun. Received 3,000 prestige points. Completed quest from War God Co-White. Received 3,000 prestige points. Current prestige points, 40,120. Whoa, a jackpot. Now I'm rich, huh? Alright, let's head back to the village. Come on, show us the Thunder Core. He sighed, I'm a little tired. So, hearing that, everyone got annoyed. At a time like this, you're making things difficult for me. You money-grubbing bastard. He said goodbye. Well then, see you all later. Then Subaru disconnected. Subaru Namikakamikami has ended the live stream. Scene change. At a shop, Zuka's voice rang out. Really, you did very well in that trial. Subaru wondered. Not really. Was that kind of stream okay? She reassured him. Yes, it was absolutely perfect. Yesterday's peak viewership was over 3,000. You didn't notice, did you? He was stunned. Over 3,000? Sorry, I was focused on the trial, so I didn't notice. She was startled. Ah, no, that was a compliment. Don't you get it? Over 3,000 for a new streamer is phenomenal. The moment you ended the stream was also perfect. In a way, your exhaustion turned out to be a good thing. Subaru confirmed. That's right. That's exactly the part everyone is most curious about, like wanting to see the next episode of series. Hatsuka, did you plan it that way? He replied, I was planning to check the rewards with the viewers in the next stream that way. My reaction will be genuine, not an act. Her jaw dropped. Really? So you do understand. I guess that old man was worried for nothing. Actually, I prepared a gift for you today. He was surprised. A gift? She crossed her legs. Something you won't be able to refuse. She gave a mysterious smile. An extremely special gift. Hasuka blushed. Search for a streamer named Hal. Hearing that, Subaru began searching as she suggested. Yes, a blonde man who was talking appeared. All right, as the title says, today's topic is this. Or wait, should I use a different topic for today? Anyway, no more nonsense. Everyone, just watch this first. Namakakami 2, or the one who will become the original. Everyone was chatting excitedly. Hello, it's more content about Namakakami 2. An otaku, huh? That trial was seriously insane. He continued, I will explain everything bit by bit. A long time later, the late afternoon sun shone through the crack in the door. He was still talking. In a trial that he had to endure, this guy, in other words, gave himself an extra challenge while already taking the test. Hasuka sat opposite him, silently watching Subaru with a blushing face. Hawkeye then raised a finger. Oh, sorry, let me summarize. I don't need to say much more about this point. So, he'll sum it up in one sentence. Subaru listened silently as he spoke. He himself is Subaru Namakakami. His voice was full of arrogance. No further explanation needed. He looked at Hasuka. Does manager think so too? Suddenly, she leaned forward. Can I ask you something? He calmly said, go ahead. She stammered. I know it's strange for a manager to ask something like this, and I know it's rude. But her cheeks flushed for a moment, and sweat trickled down her face. Hasuka gathered all her courage. Why are you so driven? Narumi. She looked up. It's not just for the money, right? Subaru crossed his arms and thought silently for a moment. Shuka watched him think, looking a little anxious. His answer was very blunt. No, it's for the money. There's no other reason. Her face turned redder than a GAC fruit from embarrassment, and steam seemed to rise from her head. She sat down in shame. Money. It really is important. Sorry for asking such a strange question. Subaru replied, it's fine. Just then, she opened her briefcase, right? The gift. Let's talk about the gift. The Hawkeye you just watched is affiliated with Saw 10, and he's a reliable streamer with a 6-year contract. His analytical streaming style is his moneymaker, and he has a huge fan base. His judgment of character is very good. And take this. Hawkeye's stream just now, and all future revenue from streams with related content will be split 50-50. He was skeptical. Split with whom? Hasuka explained. With you, of course. Because it's derivative content from your material. Ads, donations, archives, everything. Subaru took the thick stack of documents. Really? Ever since signing with the management company, one good thing after another has happened. She got shy again when she heard him say that. She looked down at the table, scratching her cheek. You think so? He replied. Yes, this is a surprising gift. Hatsuka brushed her hair back. So, this might sound a bit sudden, but as a gesture of goodwill, would you like to collaborate with Hawkeye? Time passed quickly. Subaru was now back in his house. He took off his mask. When meeting people outside, maybe I don't need the mask. And I don't need to emphasize the money issue so much. He stood in front of the mirror, looking at himself. the more relationships I build, the harder it is to know how much I should hide. He looked at the system panel. Current Greed LV. 3 has leveled up. Greed, rank, C-type, skill LV4. When used, nullifies the side effects of skills and items. Can upgrade the rank and level of the skill. Prestige points needed, 80,000. Subaru was skeptical, rank C, and it needs 80,000 prestige points? And my balance is current prestige points, 120. He was disappointed. Emphasize it or not, money is still the top priority. At least the collaboration with Hawkeye the day after tomorrow will let me earn a decent amount. He reached into his system inventory and, it seems, took out a flower. Now I need to do some things first. Scene changed to Shuka. She was lying face down on her pillow. Her face was still red, and both her hands were red too. Hasuka recalled Subaru's godlike handsome face. I guess it's for the money. She slammed her fist into the pillow and yelled, "That's right." Her thoughts drifted further. Behind that stylish mask, an extraordinary mystery is hidden. If I dig deeper, it'll hurt myself. She punched the pillow repeatedly. I want to ask. I'm curious, but I'm not nosy. Flashback to Subaru pointing at her. Ever since I met you, Hasuka, one good thing after another has happened. Hasuka's face turned redder than a GAC fruit. She threw a punch. Me too. The punch was so strong that the pillow tore, revealing the cotton inside. Feathers flew all over the room. She was lovesick. Subaru Namakakami, a man with a secret no one knows. Meeting him in real life only makes him look more amazing. The scene now shifts to the 7th floor, Spare's rooftop, a place with buildings that were both majestic and exuded a sense of dread. In a glowing room in the main castle, someone was working out while watching TV. On the screen, Hawkeye's broadcast was replaying. I don't need to say more about this, so I'll sum it up in one sentence. The person's fists were drenched in sweat. A creaking sound echoed in the room. He spoke while doing pull-ups. I don't like it. Pick one, informal or formal speech. And who is this guy? A subordinate replied. A streamer named Hawkeye. He boasts an average viewership of 8,000. He is a member of Lamb Coup. Kirikawa Amon let go. A streamer. Huh? I'll have to experience him for myself a little. He stepped closer. But for now, more than Hawkeye, I want you to focus on Subaru Namakakami from that stream. He was surprised. Oh, so the faker learned lightning? On the screen, Subaru's previous battle was being broadcast. Amon exclaimed in admiration. That's truly impressive. The subordinate spoke up. Is that what you think? He replied. Seiko Suhei, the spear knight of Lam Nan, once said, the most important thing when throwing is to never take your eyes off the opponent. He was astonished. Wait, Amon, you even remember ordinary sayings like that? He looked up. I trained hard to absorb everything about them. Their breath, everything. They were the players who once stood at the top, but everyone overlooked one important thing. Lam Nin wasn't just Subaru Nargarite Kame. Every single member was the strongest. And there are suspicious things surrounding their deaths. At that moment, Hawkeye's voice came on. He himself is Subaru Nagumo. No further explanation needed. Hearing this, Amon became displeased. Why does that show-off brat have to be so arrogant? And to talk about them so disrespectfully? The subordinate replied, that's the biggest problem with streamers, right? They're willing to abandon their beliefs and pride in an instant just to get attention. He couldn't stand it anymore and used the remote to turn off the TV. He turned to the other man, completely annoyed. Why did you even show me this? The man stammered, it wasn't me. Guildmaster Kyo asked me to show it to you. Hearing this, Amon was surprised. Mitsuki, he ordered his subordinate. Lightning is the symbol of Lam Nan, and Lam Nan is the predecessor of our Lamb Coup. A cart was pushed forward. We have learned that this streamer is very fond of money. The cloth covering it was pulled off by the subordinate. A golden light shone, and his eyes were filled with utter astonishment at the sight. Under that cloth were many gold bars. He continued, we have already secured a sufficient budget. We must bring him in at any cost. Amon's voice was filled with disbelief. Are you kidding me? He stroked his chin and muttered, he's just a money grubber?